Just because the S&P 500 is relatively flat doesn't mean there aren't a lot of areas of strength to look at in this market, including in the health tech space. We'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, relatively flat open as of right now. That's what we're seeing in the SPY. But again, 90 minutes to go until that opening bell will ring. NASDAQ here looking like, once again, roughly flat compared to where we closed yesterday. Take a look at USO, as we do more or less every day as of late, given the ongoing Iran-US conflict. USO poised to open slightly green, so a little bit less flat than what we're seeing with the NASDAQ and SPY, but still no super strong movement to the upside for USO, or at least strong movement that's been sustained. I want to mention as well DUOL really quickly here before we get into this housekeeping, because speaking of strong moves, this actually just came out. I was seeing a couple minutes before we went live here. They filed an 8K after an internal screen was accidentally shown during an investor meeting. So apparently daily active users as of August 17th, that would be Monday, were estimated to be up 27.4% year over year. They got an upgrade yesterday as well. So good look here potentially for DUOL. But what are we looking at for the markets today here? No economic data coming out in the morning, though we are going to get those EIA crude oil, gasoline, distillate, and crude Cushing inventories coming through at 10:30. But then at 1 p.m., you've got the 20-year bond auction, and at 2 p.m., the FOMC meeting minutes. I would say those minutes probably the most noteworthy piece of data we're going to be getting today. We did have that 9-3 votes. There were 3 dissenting votes coming through at that July meeting, for which the minutes will be given. So that, I think, will be something to watch. We also have Trump speaking with leaders in the technology industry at 2:30 p.m. So weirdly, the back half of the day is going to be loaded with more info. But the front half of the day still has plenty to look at. You've got Moderna here, MRNA, with a personalized cancer therapy trial going quite well. Merck also to the upside, but this Moderna move is just completely unprecedented and a great look here for the stock. On the other side of things, though, you've got Nebius to the downside. This came out, I think, around 7:40 a.m., so relatively later in the pre-market session, or at least up to this point. But they did announce this convertible senior note sale, over $4 billion worth. You've also got, analysts weighing in on NVIDIA, Amazon drone expansion. There's a lot to talk about. A lot of in the tech space today, Sharif. So good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking, Adira. NVIDIA sending H200 chips to China. Not many, but at least some have made its way over there. Separately, there's a different issue with NVIDIA. A lot of Chinese users are accessing GB300s vis-a-vis cloud data centers in Asia. So the U.S. government looking at possibly putting some more restrictions on there. Meta engineers were in the hot seat yesterday being asked about the addictive nature of their social media platform. So that remains in focus. Meta, again, flat to down on the day. Amazon, as Dara mentioned, looking to expand air drone delivery at scale, for that matter. So Amazon up here to start the morning. And SKHY next, $29 billion buyback ignites a 4% move here in the pre-market. And oh my days, this is Moderna. Guys, I watched this in real time. I caught the first 5-minute candle on this one. We were trading around $75 when I first had eyes on this one. We are now at $130. We're up 105%. As Adira mentioned, on the back of that cancer news. Target reported, TJX reported, Lowe's reported. They're all negative to start the morning. Viking, the cruise ship, they're up 2.25. Cerebras also in focus here, down 2.25, and EL up 8.5. Adira.
Yeah, expect the letters MRNA to be said a lot, I think, this morning. But what letters are you guys saying for stock tickers and watch today? Sean and Neil, good morning to both of you, and welcome back, Sean.
Good morning. Well, I mean, obviously everyone's looking at Moderna and Merck right now.
How can you? It's gonna break 130 right here.
It's just so impressive of a move, and it's been so long waited for Moderna to get away from. Well, it's not to get away from, to have some kind of an actual breakout here when it comes to the cancer treatment. We're not talking about COVID anymore. But there's another aspect to this. There's a reason why every single time someone asked about Pfizer, it's like, Merck. There's always something. When you're looking at like a bad stock in a sector, there's usually a good one somewhere. And Merck, of course, not going to be moving up 102% like Moderna is, but it shouldn't get left to the wayside. Merck having a pretty good morning as well. It's up 8 points today and just continuing its very, very nice uptrend. As mentioned, it's not all roses, because yesterday was not good for a lot of chip names, a lot of AI plays. You saw the memory names. They tried to go, we're all gapped down. They tried to go early in the morning. Like DRAM was like a was like a VWAP break. It tried to get going, and then just a reverse short. Intel got battered down a little bit there.
Yeah,
Names like Marvell. NBIS is going to be in play. That had a rough one yesterday, and now an offering, so it's getting smoked a little bit. But hey, I mean, Moderna of 103 points is going to catch a lot of headlines. But it was a pretty weak session for the NASDAQ based on what happened with a lot of those chips.
Yeah, we just went down $10 from Moderna and broke out through 130. It went to 135. Now it's under 126. So yeah, this is going to be a wild trader there today, up 100%. And it's great for melanoma. Basically, the story here is, as Dara sort of went over it there, Merck and Moderna's cancer vaccine combined with Keytruda, so that's going to be, I think that's part of Merck's situation there, met the main goal in phase 3 trial. More than 1,100 high-risk patients extended their lifetimes after taking these drugs. So I don't know if there's an exact, we'll have to dig into it. There's an exact time that it was extended, but as we were saying here, any extension of life for cancer patients is such a blessing. So yeah, that's fantastic. And Moderna is one thing, it's fine. But a name, as Neil was mentioning there, that a lot of people could probably get into, Merck's of the world, Pfizer's, the Eli Lilly's. But at the end of the day, there's reasons why this is basically the third highest, positioned ETF, largest for myself, is XBI. And it's just, this is the biotech ETF. And it's just been, pretty cruising. And we always say, if you're always betting on science, then, the IBB, the biotech ETFs should be owned. And at least, if that's what you believe anyways, don't show this report to any of the people that don't believe in vaccines or anything like that. But there it goes up now 2.5%. And, a beat up name a little bit back into the 50 period, now trying to break long. But yeah, I guess I was saying yesterday, there was bad situations with Marvell. And then, yeah, Neil brought up Intel. I actually forgot about that one there yesterday. So breaking now below that $100 mark. Right where Lip Bhutan was bought his $10 million worth, I guess. $95 was the last reported sale there, or buy there. So, thinking that 95 could be a level potentially to hold now for Intel based on, sort of where we've been buying it up a little bit here today and that story, right, for Lip Bhutan buying in and around this price. So I don't know if that's going to matter at the end of the day. And then I saw on Monday when I was here, it was like, okay, memory's been sort of going crazy. Wait for it to come back in a little bit maybe and buy something like an SK Hynix. Didn't quite get into this 140 area that I think I like, but we got pretty close, man, down to 150 there yesterday, now back up to 160 there today. So what was lost yesterday is, trying to come back here today. So there are some good green shoots. Yeah, it looks like there today that are around. So yeah, it should be a fun one there. The Blue Jays won again, so they're back in the wild card hunt. They're literally on fire right now. So hopefully, Vlad didn't play again, right? Or did he? I don't know. I was watching a little bit of it. I didn't notice.
No, we had Okamoto's been playing for.
Yeah. So maybe he can stay hurt for a while.
No, the concussion treatment. I think it's automatically.
Oh yeah, you get your few days gone for that. Yeah. Okay.
And then the saga with Walter, the guy that's selling some Chelsea, that sold the Lakers, and is possibly having to sell the Dodgers.
Yeah, he owns the PWH.
So the crazy thing about it, and the only reason I know this is because he owes $1.1 billion again in 11 days or so, because his insurance company is financing half of this stock, this random CCO stock that's being bought out. And when the news hit the wires, this thing is literally days from closing and does not move. When it hit the wires that this guy is the dude on the hook for it, it actually moved to the downside because they're worried that he doesn't have the money.
The financing will fall through.
But he'll probably just sell his stake he already sold the stake in the Lakers. He'll sell maybe sell stake in the Dodgers. But there's this whole, and this is not necessarily a stock story to the extent, anything that this guy is connected to is probably under risk if we're having to sell. But what's coming out about their TV deal, the Dodgers, and how they structured it, how they've avoided luxury tax, basically it's all a gigantic scam. Mm-hmm. They're not doing it the right way in spending. They're just a scam. What they pulled off. But we'll see. Maybe some new ownership with the Dodgers will change some things.
That's an interesting one. That how you merge the different businesses, right? Like how it affects the stocks, and then we can see like losing out on some of those deals. I did hear that guy owns the PWHL as well, so there's some.
Yeah, he founded the league.
He could, they still owns them all, owns all the teams, so he could definitely make. But the thing is, this is just a temporary thing. It's not that this guy's broke. He's doing it to.
All he has to do
is free up cash.
If he frees up enough cash, everything is fine.
So everything will go back to normal here, I would.
But he'll probably have to sell a bunch of stuff.
What was SpaceX wasn't very bearish yesterday. That went up to 146 again, SpaceX.
It was just at 45, 46.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Started the day yesterday down at 140 again. And then, just pretty choppy early again, right? And made that low near 140 again and again, kept on making that low and then up there again. So you're right back into 140 again now. So potential longs, developing there. I don't know, gold maybe? What's gold been doing? I actually put it out. I haven't checked yet because we just went on air as soon as I pushed it out. But I was asking everybody else, like, what kind of trades maybe you guys were looking at today. Gold relatively flat, but still up. I mean, we like that breakout for gold. Now just kind of maybe taking a little bit of a back seat here for that one. Wow, we got, okay. Here we go, man. I just posted this up 5 minutes ago. We already got a few responses here. Dave, so I said, hey, good morning, traders. What's setting up for you guys here in the AM? So Dave says Moderna. Yeah, I think you're right. I'll respond to all these, don't worry. Yeah, you're right about that one. Figuring what to buy in this cray market. The madman is in charge. Who's that? Joseph is in charge? TQQs and Intel. Yay. Brian, man, you're speaking my word there. TNON. We'll have to figure out something, and then some Intel love over there. So I'll get my opinions in on some of those plays as well. But is TNON?
It's a mover.
Is it? Okay, so there you go. So, thanks to Tenon Medical there. Good little look there by our good friend Victor. So this is why, go up there. I'll put it out. If there's any symbols you guys want to talk about there today, hit me up on Twitter and we'll be able to talk, or on X, we'll be able to talk about that. Yeah, without even looking, we talked a little bit about Intel there. So there's double the Intel coming through, cray market, and then Moderna. So yeah, man, there's lots of stuff going on there. There's Tenon there. You have
I got the story. It looks like, exactly. So Tenon's in play. Tenon Medical shares trading higher after the company received a notice of allowance for a U.S. patent titled Systems, Apparatus, and Methods for Stabilizing SKHY? Whatever. I'm not going to pronounce that properly, so let's not even try. It's 35% short float. That actually hit in the right at the end of the day, right at the close, that story. So this is a continuation play, but the bigger story here from trading aspect is it's a 625,000 float for Tenon, and it's 35% short. So two questions. Sharif, how much are you looking forward to trading Tenon? Because it fits all the parameters. And the other one would be, Moderna's a gapper. Is this something that's on your radar? So twofold. Well, obviously, Tenon fits the regular criteria, but Moderna has the profile and look of one of the gappers. It kind of melds the worlds together today. Are you looking at that?
Certainly does. I mean, it's got the momentum, it's got the move up, but the cost is a little bit beyond my range there. You try to stay away from everything, south of or north of $50. But let's look at what else is moving. Guys, I have to point your attention to this leverage product, MRNX. This is a Moderna leveraged ETF. It's clearly 2 times. As it's up 180%, be careful. The volume is much less than mRNA. But we also have RDAC. This one looks like the best trade is behind it. Double top into 20, just lost VWAP, finding support at 12.5. It looks like it might reject off that VWAP from the sell side. But TNON, stair-stepping up. Nice breakout yesterday at 4 o'clock. Holds the aftermarket levels. Continues to put in higher lows, higher highs, knocking on the door of 13. As long as this one holds 11 where VWAP is hanging out, I'd definitely be looking at TNON. And then we also have to talk about YJ ripping up now, almost into $4. Likely going to see 5 soon, up 112%. You've got a 1.5 million share float, just like how I like it on this one, and it's trading at around 3 3/4 Adara. So YJ, the number one gapper right now in my book.
Yeah, expected a lot of Moderna discussion this morning, guys, as I think is fair. This is by far the most mentioned ticker in our chat so far today, and for good reason, because it is up, as of its pre-market highs, more than 100%. working with Merck, and this trial really well received. Apparently 2 different separate areas had their endpoints met.
Yes, so let's get to this because there's a lot of words here that I'm going to have trouble pronouncing. So I do apologize in advance. Merck and Moderna's phase 3 Interpath 001 trial. Success here for Intismeran autogene. It combines with Keytruda, and specifically it's for high-risk melanoma. But this, guys, is the first ever phase 3 cancer vaccine success in the history. So it's a historic milestone, obviously, for both companies. But the outcomes here were already kind of known back in 2024 when mRNA filed for this from the FDA. They were rebuffed. At the time, it was a phase 2, not phase 3 trial. They took their information, they took their data, they took it to phase 3, and here we are. But it's hyper-personalized. So it's not just like an injection that just comes out of the factory or whatever and into your arm or your leg or whatever. So listen to this, Adira. So it's not an off-the-shelf therapeutic. It's dynamically manufactured using synthetic mRNA that codes up to 34 specific antigens, neoantigens, entirely customized to match the unique DNA mutational signature of the individual patient's tumor. So highly specified. So to me, right away, number one, I think costs are going to be higher because when you're customizing something, typically costs are high. And number two, can they have it produced en masse since it's going to be, customized? So those are just some immediate questions that come to mind. But there's no toxicity penalty here. Apparently, it's better tolerated than Keytruda alone. I know it's being combined with Keytruda, but who needs double the toxicity? So I kind of like a lot of these points.
Yeah, it's an interesting look here. I think the costs are something that probably investors and people watching this are going to be looking at going forward. But right now, certainly a nice look for this stock, which costs significantly more than it did yesterday. How are you guys feeling about MRNA here?
I'm feeling better now, but I mean, I'm $6 in the money. No, man, we took the short, man. We took the short breaking through that 120 marker there. So yeah, look, I mean, I absolutely love the story. I mean, how can't you? But we're traders, right? So, and didn't take long to get into the club there today, did it, right? And so there it goes, man. It's a big move early. And we're not trading with that many shares here, but a win is a win, as we always say around here. And we always say that share size don't matter, and it doesn't matter here. You just want to play it. It's going to be very violent. So
it's just risk to reward. That's all.
You just want to make sure that you don't put too much out here because this name could obviously rip. And I only have 25% left of this trade anyways. So yeah, I just, underneath the 25 period moving average there, I wanted to look at that was just a 120 play. That's all that it was there. So we actually got in at 119, got out, it broke through 120, punched back in through the downside there. So, it's just a great story overall. I mean, that's why we talked about the XBI and fighting with science and all that. It's a new, we were just up 113% or something at the highs, and now you're back down. So, it's going to be a tough one to judge, what kind of value this brings to the stock or what kind of value it brings to the space at all. I do think it's
very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. I mean, they're going to be presenting this, and then someone's going to say, how much does... It just sucks to think about how you actually rate these things because it's all right, how many days does this extend people's lives? What is that worth? It's such a stupid thing to talk about.
How many people have this?
Yeah, it's I don't know what that's worth.
The number, okay, well,
it's worth a lot.
If you ChatGPT it and look at the people that are high-risk melanoma and what that addressable market is, that suggested that you're talking a couple billion annually, right. But then it's almost impossible to price. That's why you see that kind of price action. There was one thing to keep in mind. There's levels that are not psychological might not matter much today, but there was something brewing apparently at $100. I think Joe said that he saw something in there at the 100 level. That's a good psychological one. And there is a sympathy play that I feel should have been more obvious, but I'm going to try shorting EVAX today multiple times if possible because they went up when this was hitting because they had a sort of it's a small capper with a similar story. It spiked twice, went negative. So it actually went negative, which when you think about it, it's well, if these guys are trying to develop something and this is all they have and they're a small company, yeah, people might have bought them before, but if Merck and Moderna have possibly cracked the code here for something, what does that leave for anybody else that is trying to do something similar? Because it's not to say that they're dead, but it's a price action. So
Yeah, no, that's a good trade.
I want to short this one into 330 if we can. If it breaks that, I want to get a view up. I wish I had seen it sooner, because obviously when it was only running on the Merck store or on the Merck Moderna story, like it could have been a fade through the volume weighted average price. But there's really a lot to consider with Moderna, and VWAP seems like it's a thing for now. I treat it like a gapper. If it loses VWAP, I'm going to treat it as if this was just any other gapper, and if it's underneath the volume weighted average price, that's where I want to fail. And go with kind of like the way Luis likes to look at it. I'm very curious. Well, I really doubt you would have had the time to look at the options for it. The story just hit, but I'm kind of hoping maybe this could be something Joey.
Well, I don't think.
It's DRAM's up.
Yeah, no, because I don't think the options.
No, because
you got to wait for the market to open.
You got to wait for the market to open up to get a reaction, but it'll be interesting to maybe look at that chain later on in the session.
One question I have is, come on, Joe, like, why didn't Joe get us in these options yesterday? Like, he didn't know about this was going to happen, or,
I wish we all knew.
Can you imagine up 81%? Here, Joe, here's a question for you to catch you off track a little bit here. Have you ever played, an options game or name like this, where the very next day or maybe 2 days later, there was like such a crazy move that you could have never expected? Like anybody playing Moderna, would just be like, wow, bank error in my favor. So have there been any plays like that in your lifetime where you've been able to catch something like this?
Honestly, Sean, not that I can recall, to be honest with you. A move like this, what we're experiencing in Moderna, you're going to just see some of these options contracts go off the rails. It's going to be absolutely insane. In my earlier days, it was a lot of options writing. I mean, we've had some hefty gap downs and everything along those lines. But when you see 100% return, just like that in the pre-market, people who have been front running this and some insider info are just going to be absolutely off the charts. I can't wait to take a look at it. Maybe just after the open, I'll chime in, guys. Those who don't have access to the options chain will take a look at some of the appreciation in those Moderna charts, all right? But first things first, guys, let's get into some of the options activity from yesterday's session. We're going to kick things off with DRAM. The sector all around, guys, high single digits to the sell side. Now, we're going to be looking for some potential support levels. I know we're 10% away from this marker right here, but we're going to keep our eye on this $50 strike price. There is some size at $55, which we're roughly trading around right now, but I want us to focus on this because there's a little bit more volume here on this specific strike price. Now, as for the open interest, we're going to sit on 30,000 flat, all right, guys? So this is going to potentially act as some form of support level. Now, as for our volume, 2,900 contracts opened and closed. Now, we're going to be expiring on Friday, guys, so only a couple of days until expiration, but no need for liquidity issues here. Don't worry about that, guys. A $2 spread. These contracts aren't worth very much. And you can see from our delta itself, some people in the chat asking me, Joe, how do I determine if this is a call or a put? Well, your put options will always have a negative delta, so keep an eye on that. And another individual in the chat asking, Joe, tell us a little bit more about the option segment. Well, we're looking for where the largest participation is throughout the expiration cycle and the strike prices, and this could give us potential support and resistance zones. Now, as for the gamma exposure, guys, we're sitting on 4 cents, and our Vega relatively cool, all right? But surprisingly so, considering you were down 9% yesterday around the close in DRAM and in the all-around sector, you see 175% appreciation within this specific contract. So that put contract up, underlying asset down. All right, moving forward, guys, we're going to take a look at Apple, another name that we were trading yesterday. So when you have a rotation out of the chips, we see some of the money funneling into Apple, that safe haven style play. $310 strike price. We're going to be expiring this Friday, but open interest pretty substantial there, guys. 310, we are trading around that area, only a couple pennies away, but 33,700 contracts. And we ran into 311 yesterday and immediately rejected at that level. Now, volume 36,900. And then if we look at our bid in the ask, only a $6 spread. Again, very little liquidity issues there, all right? So highly liquid underlying asset. Now, as for your delta, you can tell, just considering we're at that 50-cent marker, closer to at the money, all right? Gamma exposure, relatively cool. We're sitting at 10 cents. And then Vega also at 6 cents as well. But this contract in itself, surprisingly so, just to what Sean was referring to not too long ago, if you happen to know the night before that the underlying asset is going to do this massive run right out of the gate or even in the pre-market, well, congratulations to you, because this contract goes from 68 cents all the way to $2.80, a staggering 312% return. Once again, I said we're going to take a look at some of those Moderna contracts right after the open. We'll see where we really started to move, and then we'll probably see about a 4-digit return in some of those strike prices. Moving forward, last but not least, guys, a couple other notable mentions. We have SanDisk here at that $1,600 support system is what we're going to be looking for. We're about $30 away. 4,300 contracts there from a supply zone standpoint, and volume around 8,500 contracts open and closed on yesterday's session. Now we're going to focus on AMD. About $30 away from this level, strike price 450. Now, I understand this is a little ways away, but we're going to be looking at the open interest just in case this name continues to slide. 7,700 contracts there, potential support with volume at 2,400. Both these contracts are going to be expiring on Friday, guys. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
Shoot, I thank you very much there, Joe. And not to get away from DRAM and some of the options plays there, but Marvell on the move here. It just spiked $15 at the highs, up to $229. It's still holding on to some of those gains. All I heard was definitive agreement as I was trying to listen in while we had Joe.
Some sort of a filing. I didn't.
Yeah, I
missed it as well.
Whole thing.
I did re-short some Moderna there at 118. Actually, what was the price? 118.50s. So I'm trying to bid some 116.50s. It hasn't really broken back below, but like if we could just scalp back and forth a couple dollars here on that MRNA, and Joe's right, man. There's going to be 4- and 5-digit moves on these Moderna contracts. I mean, that kind of a move. It's some sort of a warrant with Google. Is that what it was with Marvell? We're gonna find out. I mean, Google's been performing pretty weakly. This has actually been a really bad stock. I hate to say it. I mean, this is one of the biggest positions for myself and for many traders, I would assume, but that's come like right back into the 200 period moving average. That's not going well, man. I know they had some sort of another sale there, Australian dollar or something, bond sale.
Okay, it's out.
But that's coming through. Adara does have the story on Marvell.
So here's the deal with Marvell, guys. I'll send it right back to you so you can continue to react to this from a trading standpoint. But MRVL to the upside, they issued Google warrants for 58.97 million shares at 206.58 per share. That's roughly 6.7% of outstanding shares. That's according to a filing. This warrant relates to custom semiconductor products for Google, including AI inference accelerators, storage controllers, network interface controllers, memory interface controllers, and near memory compute. Apparently, 1.36 million of these shares vest quarterly over the first year. 57.61 million vest in 240 tranches each for $500 million in custom products revenue through fiscal 2033. The warrant expires on August 18th, 2033. So I guess Marvell has issued some warrants to Google. It's trading sharply higher here.
Marvell still has a crazy PE, still PE of 50s, 75 there with their PE. So it's still very expensive. But yeah, there it is, man. Enters agreement with Google to expand TPU. At the end of the day, Adara just said everything that was attached to it. But basically, they issued warrants to Google. They're expanding their TPU ecosystem right there for Marvell. So as Sharif just said, TPUs starting to go off right there. And so it's not really doing anything to Google stock. So I'm not really sure. I think it does help Google maybe solidify. I mean, get some of the supply under control there. But yeah, memory, interface controllers. Look, it's why we put Marvell as part of this was at the beginning of the year in January. This was one of the stocks that I put on the list on our competition, right? So if you're going all the way back down to there, it was $80. All right, so obviously it's had its moves up to 330. The reason why I liked it is because of these exact reasons. The sort of the brains behind You know, the GPU is sort of everything, but there's a nervous system that climbs through. Marvell's involved in so many of building of these TPUs. We talked about the custom ASICs. This is what this is for. So there goes Marvell up now, you know, basically partnering with one of the biggest, you know, CapEx spenders out there with Google. So I think this is going to be a good story for Marvell. I don't know why.
It goes right back
You
to...
would think it would be good for Google too, but.
No, well, I mean, but I don't know. Like, you're going to buy 59 million shares at 07. It just goes back to, we were talking about this because Dara had the infographic yesterday about NVIDIA and all of the names that NVIDIA is investing in.
Yeah, IREN is one of them.
And it's like, okay, well now Google, same thing. They were already propped up by their investment. Like, look, their earnings Google's earnings were fantastic last quarter, but to a certain extent, they were propped up by some of their private holdings, and now you're just getting more of this. Let's just keep putting money into the names that we hope are going to continue to feed us and grow, instead of that financing coming from somewhere else. Like, well, Marvell doesn't get it from somewhere else. They end up getting it from Alphabet. Just spend. So it's making a little bit of sense why Google's not really moving on this. Obviously, Marvell, you can see right here, Marvell pops right to 240, which is why I was showing the 15-minute. Right up to that resistance at 240 that we saw a couple of days ago. So it kind of gaps into that level. That's probably the place to watch. But Tisha Perkins, 878. Oh, next level on YJ for a second there. Bury the lead. You got to put the ticker in first. YJ, which is another small cap runner. There's levels on this thing. I mean, look at this. Yeah, YJ is probably like a reverse split in there at some point. But like you'll look it up and you'll find some bag holder levels that will make sense why we're looking at 878. But hey, Tisha, if you like 878, maybe it's a fib thing. I have no idea. This one's going ham as well. But I don't know. I don't see any obvious levels out there as well. And there you go. For anyone tuning in the last few seconds and wonders what the heck is going on with Marvell. Marvell and Google entered into a commercial pact on July 29th. Today, they've issued Google a warrant to purchase up to, it's approximately 59, just call it 59 million shares at a price of 206 half. So 206.58 per share is the excise price on that. So yeah, in the chat we just saw this is all circular investing. I mean, to a certain extent, that's what some of the concern is. You would think, I mean, but it's good for Marvel.
That is what it is.
That's what we've been doing.
We've seen it before.
We've seen it. It's what NVIDIA is doing, and
we did
Google
get
too.
We did get out of some right there. I told you we were bidding 1650s, right? So there it was. And why were we bidding 1650? Because it's been the floor there on Moderna. So that came in and we got it. The floor was actually 1680. I was thinking once it broke, we would get a good price, and we did. So we did get 1650s there. I'm stopping out on a 121 break, this 50 period break. So if we do break above where that is, then we'll give back maybe 15% or so in stop out, right? So we just, we didn't actually reload a full amount there. So we're gonna wait now to see what winds up happening. I'll take one more small trade in front of 120 again, and then we'll use 121 as our out there for Moderna, but definitely a slippery slope. I actually feel pretty happy with being able to take a little bit of profit. Remember, we got stopped out when it broke 20 the first time. Then when it didn't go, we got right back in. So that was part of that story there. But yeah, Moderna is going to be a story there for today. That's for sure. But Google, I mean, maybe this is, I don't know if it's a good thing or bad thing, but it's not really doing anything. The futures are now starting to pick up a little bit, which is helping the Google story. I could see, if we think about just like how you're short that EVAX there, you got to sometimes think about what this means to other stocks. Yeah. So there goes Broadcom getting kicked in the face right there. Like, I chose Marvell over Broadcom, and I'm glad to have made that decision, obviously, as there goes, Broadcom back in again. Broadcom's been great. I mean, as of, before the last week or so, Broadcom actually was performing a little bit better than Marvell off the lows. Like Marvell's high was 500. Its low, although the lows were pretty bad when they came in, but just as of yesterday, it was back to as of last week, it was back to 420. So it wasn't really that bad. Marvell had a high of 330 or something like that, and it got all the way down into 210. Even lower than that. 210 was yesterday, but down to 160. Like, that got chopped in half. So Broadcom has a little bit longer lasting power, I think, here. But wow, now Marvell is.
Yeah, but this is getting bad for Broadcom.
They have juice behind this one. This is, well, when we first heard the story, man, I mean, we could have easily punched long, but I guess this is a hard one to kind of figure out. right? That's not even really the story that's up on the board now. That's like where it all began, but now it's the warrants and everything.
Yeah, I think it's really more about the warrants to purchase that many shares, because effectively now you've got Alphabet with a vested interest in really seeing this partnership thrive. And like, this is not to beat a dead horse when they're down. I don't want to bag on Broadcom, but we were talking about this with Brian.
There it goes.
Shannon, major moving averages getting lost yesterday. Well, now add Broadcom to the list, because Broadcom just broke not the 50 SMA, the 200 SMA. That's like that institutional long-term support level for bigger stocks. It's been under before and it was able to hold. But if this stock loses, it gets underneath and breaks down, like consolidates and breaks down, that 340 is going to be pretty key for Broadcom. For today, I would suspect it should catch a bit at some point. Maybe look to see whenever. If you're looking to catch the dip here, you're probably going to want to make sure Marvell is making a turn of its own. Because every single time this blasts up, it's almost like an algo. It's going in the other direction for it. I almost said MRNA. Marvell goes down a little bit, Broadcom might catch a bit of a bid. Because when Broadcom, the second that story hit, they sold, and they haven't really done much of anything else, but continue to sell off.
This might not work. Moderna went through 121, so he punched out. And then I was like, let's trust, I mean, again, we're just having some fun here. Let's try to see but now it's holding this 120. Like it doesn't want to, there's a seller here, and it's not even that many shares, but it doesn't really want to break above it. Okay, so now it's gone. Like, there's so much trading that's in dark pools. It's there, that it's ridiculous. So there's a move down right now in Moderna. So we're long. We tried the long above 120. I don't want to be like holding this forever, but I still think there's going to be a bit. I mean, we caught it off this 115. So we went short, went a little bit long there, just kind of having fun. We're in basically not half of a unit, but half of what we've been trading with. So we're trading with pretty light amount of shares here, but let's try to hold this 120, maybe down to this kind of that shelf break there, 116.50 or so for Moderna. Let's give it a little bit of a shot here to see if it can, get back to the green side of things here with Moderna. There it goes, right back up to $1 now. In change. But this is going to be a wild one. I haven't even really, because I've been trading here, I haven't really been looking too much at the sticky note or anything else. But there it goes. So okay, now it's starting to go. So we'll take out a little bit more upside. So that was good. So we did get, again, like I think you got to trade with stop orders even in the pre-market. I mean, this stock is actually not really trading like it's a pre-market stock right now. I mean, the levels are there. This might actually be more liquidity now than there might be when this thing finally opens up. So Moderna, lots of easy trading opportunities just because of the liquidity here, but it's definitely not an easy trader. But it has built itself off of this 117. So that would be sort of a key level maybe to look at. I'm going to offer again up near 123 and see if we could take another $3 on this move, and then see if we can get back up to some of these high side trades there. Will be really interesting to see how traders react once this market opens. Do we have Luis coming today? We should, right? He hasn't showed up yet. Okay, so basically, if we can get this name to go and still hold on to it, I think there could be a break higher once the market finally winds up opening up there today. But there it is, man. We take another little fill there as it's going through 123 now. So, all right, man, we're going to work on some more names for our sticky note. And then Target had their report today, was down, and now it's up.
Yeah, it was down.
So, wow,
5.
Target, man, you can't keep a good company down, I guess. There it goes, man. Breaking out now. Target has to take out this 154 before it does anything, but that's a good little level there for Target. So we'll keep our eye on that here today. But yeah, lots happening.
Thank you for the super chat. Smelly bottom sphere. I don't even know what that one. What do we think about Oracle? Remember, like Oracle, the news hit. I don't know. We had the title up there on the stream, but this hit yesterday. There was some concerns about about slowing growth in OpenAI, threatening Oracle, which is solely reliant, incorrect, but wholly reliant on OpenAI for their growth. And so there's a delay on some data center build outs, like pipeline issue, blah, blah, blah. And all of that's, I think, pretty negative. The one good thing for Oracle is usually stocks don't go down literally every single day. They will eventually catch bids even in downturns. So it's clearly a reversal off the 50 period, but it seems like it's bouncing at this little support. It's not a support level. It's just where it bounced on August 6th before getting to the 50. So that 138 just sort of held on to give it a bit of a, let's call it a reprieve. So you're getting a reprieve bounce right now. The market's blasting higher because USO is going down right now. So the market's going up, USO is heading to the downside. That could be helping it. But that 138, the trend is your friend to the end when it bends. I suspect that the 138 level is going to get broken and then it'll fill in that gap. But yeah, for now, it's like a USO is helping the markets bounce higher. I didn't hear his story, but USO just dropped like $1.50.
Yeah, Marvell's still on one here, but guys, we keep seeing in the chat. I mean, I'm reading it right now as we speak. You guys have the right setups, the right reads, but everyone's trading the wrong size. We just talked about how important that is in trading these pre-market gappers. You want to make sure that you're conscious of your size, but here's the truth. You've all got the skills. Your account is just simply too small. Well, we've got a fix for that. It's Trade Funder. They've changed that. You now get 100K for stocks, 25K for Joey options, and today you keep 80%. This is paid out every single Friday. So celebrate your Fridays in the right way with Trade Funder, and you never risk your own money. This is just $99 to start, and it's refunded on your first qualifying payout. You can start in just 1 hour. So you start it right now. Maybe you get going before the open. Just get the size that you've been missing. Scan that code on your screen right now. Check the description check the link in our description. It's tradefunder.com. You can choose both stocks or options. So, Joey just went over a few things today. If you're going to get involved today in any kind of an options, forum, maybe today might be your day. I mean, this is quite the move we're expected here in many of the biotech stocks. And then, by the way, a little stock called Marvell as well might be optionable there today, up 12%. And also, look the other way, as we said, man, Broadcom getting slapped on this news as well to the downside, right? Intel's not a custom ASICs kind of play, but there goes Intel back there to the upside. Is the whole market getting on the back of this deal right now with Marvell and Google. So that's been treated pretty nice. Those of you asking about Moderna, yep, we're back in it. SpaceX went red to green too, I believe. I'm holding this until we break basically this 116, 115 area. So want to give this, $3 or $4 worth of room. So yeah, I am looking for, that $3 or $4 move. It can't, I don't want to go less than 1-to-1. We've sort of taken out a little bit of profit as it's gone back up to the upside. But now that we'll hold on to this last little piece, I do have an offer at 124.50 just to get out in front of 125. And then if that starts to rip even higher after that, then 130. So just trying to space out the offers here so that if it does move, we have a little bit more on it there as well. So yeah, man, thanks to everybody for showing up here today. We do talk about small caps, big caps, large caps, all the news, caps we're wearing, commodities, upgrades, downgrades.
Which we're going to get to in a second. But and Adam, we'll get to AVGO for your question there. I want to answer all the questions. But we haven't seen something specific on why oil just made that move to the downside. Derek confirmed to us here that it was not a post from the president. So you can go to his truth account. There was nothing along those lines. It could have just been something a little bit technical, potentially, if we're being real about it. But as that was heading down, the markets were already blasting. For those that are kind of dropping in now and asking about Broadcom, any deal, look, Google furthering their partnership and collaboration with Marvell is a negative for a competitor, which is Broadcom. That's just less money for Broadcom. So they're heading to the downside. And I gotta keep an eye on this. You know what? I'm gonna make a rule for myself with this small cap. So EVAX was just a company that went up on sympathy to this Moderna story. And then it gave it all up within minutes. But now Moderna's bouncing again, so I'm gonna get off the offer while Moderna's bouncing and not reload until I see that sort of coming on the back end. But I'm just shorting the bottom end of this range because the other thing about this stock that I didn't show you guys is if it breaks the low, like the day low on this random stock that tried to go with Moderna is actually a 52-week bottom break as well. So it's a downward trending stock that if it breaks the low today, it's a 52-week low. And it was only up because of this. When Moderna started running, a couple of other names that were related started going as well. So it's 8:45. Let's get back up to the desk. We'll keep our ear to the ground if there's really a story behind this move in oil, but it doesn't seem like there is.
Hey, all right, guys, welcome back. And let's take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. A name that got hit pretty heavy yesterday, Klarna, on the top of our downgrades list. Now we're going from an overweight to a neutral weight here, and we're reducing our price target to $18. That is down from $22 from JP Morgan, but the firm sees a lack of visibility into the company's medium-term trends and thinks Klarna needs multiple quarters of clean execution to gain investors' confidence. Moving forward, guys, we'll take a look at another downgrade name we were talking about yesterday. We're positive here this morning, about 0.4%, but we're going from an equal weight to an underweight, and there's a substantial price cut here, guys. $80, that is down from $130, and Morgan Stanley giving them that downgrade. But the firm also cites AI infrastructure revenue accelerated quarter over quarter, but its core business, advertising business, remained weak, down 18% year over year. The firm also sees limited recovery in the second half, led by weak sales, increasing AI investment. That is the reason for that specific downgrade. Moving forward, Dollar Tree on the top of our list. We're up 1% here, guys, going from an underweight to a hold at Jefferies. They're also increasing their price target to $135. That's up from $185. But the firm cites the business has returned to being simple and straightforward. The analyst notes Dollar Tree comps are strong, with Jefferies data inflecting positivity, improving traffic trends, and that being the reason for the specific upgrade. Moving forward, last but not least, we have Honeywell Aerospace, 2.6% to the top side, but going from an equal weight to an overweight, and we're holding on to our price target here of $205 at Morgan Stanley. But the firm cites valuations for the upgrade, with the shares down 27% since the spinoff. The firm believes the stock's discount to peers more than reflects its near-term execution risk. So they're liking the risk-to-reward ratio here on Honeywell Aerospace. Also noting that it's the cheapest out of all of the space stocks within the firm's portfolio. Let's send it back to Neil and Sean.
Yeah, so we'll just do a little bit of this because this is why, you know, we talk about having orders out. You know, like right before we went to Joey, I said we're offering 124.50s. You know, it ripped up, and I don't know how far. It might have got, I wasn't even watching, I think it got to 124.75 or 124.80 or something. Right, that's probably going to get to it again. But you got to have those orders out, because then it immediately went back into 122. Now we're going to get it again, so it's not like it's the end of the world. But I just want to say, like, if you don't have your orders out, so just on that note, I'm going to put a 129 now flat. Order out, right? Because we want to get out a little bit in front of 130. You never know. Although I was mentioning that the liquidity is quite strong here in the pre-market, you know, once someone swipes it, there's not a whole heck of a lot sitting in front of these levels. So if you get a big order that comes in and says, oh, I want, 100,000 shares, it'll spike this thing up a couple bucks just because the liquidity is not there. And it comes back and goes, but you definitely got to watch out for that. The name that I like in that whole space that Joe just mentioned there, I really like Honeywell. I mean, I think Honeywell, we talked about some of the aerospace plays coming back in a little bit. They're at the 200 period, well, they're almost at the 200 period moving average right now on Honeywell. So, this name coming back into 227, you're trying to look for a bid around 225 to see if that can come in. Sure, it's broken through the 200 period a couple of times as well, but, this is a pretty solid gainer to have in your account where you can sort of not lose too much sleep overnight, holding some Honeywell. But just like GE Aerospace and some of those other names, they do have other, sort of plays underneath the hood, so to speak there. There's no breakfast yet, eh? No. Maybe that's what Luis is waiting for. He's not coming on until he sees the breakfast. I guess we're not going to have Luis today. But anyways, yeah, this is a good name, Honeywell, dipping down there. So we'll have to watch to see how it treats on that upgrade. No volume yet today, 4.7 thousand shares, 4,700 shares being traded so far here on Honeywell. But
I'm actually glad Joe had Klarna the upgrades and downgrades, because I had almost forgotten about this one. It was a rough day for Klarna, and clearly it's really easy to see what the levels were. Let me just go to a 3-minute chart. It'll be easier for you guys to see. It was just 16 all morning long in the pre-market. It was 16 at the open that failed. It failed underneath 16, and it bounced off 15 bucks. So this one's pretty clear. Like the resistance at 16, flat bottom break at 15 on Klarna today. And if you're looking at that space in particular, Well, yesterday, this is what sympathy plays sometimes can be a little bit of low-hanging fruit. Like, firm was gapped down because of the Klarna earnings miss. So at the open, everyone's like, oh, Klarna should bounce. Well, look what Affirm did. It was just a clean breakout and a straight shot up. It gave the gains back, but ultimately, who cares? If you can find a stock which is moving for the sole reason that somebody else is, oftentimes it's just like the lower hanging fruit for the reversion. Would be instead of hoping Klarna bounces when it's down 18 or 20% or whatever it was at the time, you just go over to the name that's only down on sympathy and see if you can get that one going for sure. But yeah, you're seeing, the market's absolutely spiking here. Like the Nasdaq's now 0.5% up. The ES is continuing to go. Look at the move in even IBIT, which more or less did this yesterday. Like you just had absolutely nothing going on, and then we just caught a bit of a spike right into yesterday's highs. And Bitcoin did this yesterday and failed the 65,000 level. By the way, we're at 64.96. So when you're looking at 65,000 on Bitcoin, you're effectively talking about this high that we see here at about, just underneath 36.9 on IBIT. So yeah, we're absolutely blasting going into this. And outside of the Moderna news is not what's moving the market. Obviously, the Marvell news is good, but that's moving Marvell, so you can't really say this at all. We're getting almost like squeeze action here on the SPY. Like, look at this. Like, this is almost like a don't chase moment. I almost don't like this going into the open, as if they're gonna rug us at 9:30.
Rug. Yeah, maybe. It's only up 0.5% right now, so we'll.
It's the way it's moving.
Yeah, we'll just wait to see. It did kind of start with Marvell, but it's still going higher there, even though Marvell is coming back a little bit. A name that I'm gonna have. I'm just getting the sticky note out right now to everybody. I still like Intel. So Intel down here at 95. This was the level when we came in this morning. This is what we talked about when we went live on air. I was like, this is where Lip Bhutan had bought his shares at $95. I guess, have those fly traps come in yet? I still see some flies rolling around right
They were landing on my head yesterday.
Yeah, wow. Okay.
They're all over the damn place.
Yeah, we're almost there. Get out of here. But anyways, yeah, I like Intel down there at 95. So that's kind of got going here as well as the whole space, as Neil was mentioning there. Some of the, I wrote on here, watch out for SOXL. If you want to just try to check something. And if you're watching Intel, if you're watching NVIDIA, anything in this space, if you're waiting for a pullback, let it happen in the broader market and then go over to some names and see if you can pick out some winners that you want right now. Target's having its call right now. We're going to go over all this, I imagine, but right now they're talking about tariff refunds and whatnot. So Target, and I guess the conference call now on for TGT, but that wasn't bad there. Make sure you do click our link in description. You can get our watch list. I'm going to put the sticky note down in a couple of seconds. The watch list is there and load it up. Sharif's morning note is also available for just $5 a month, 20 cents a day. You're going to get everything you need all wrapped up into one little package there. So make sure you do grab that. Just go into our page, hit join for $5. Then you'll get that PDF sent. Well, you got to download it every day, but it's right there on the website. There it is right there, the morning research notes. So make sure you go check that out. Everything you need to know. And, that's what Joe and Sharif and Sia and everybody goes through on the midday. They go through some of the key stories. So if you do want to follow along, and even with what we're going to be talking about very soon, like you want the report on Target, it's all there, So definitely your one-stop shopping spot for your morning research is right here. The free watch list plus Sharif's morning note, virtually free.
By the way,
yep.
So for this move, I know there's no tweet, there's no story, there's no, I'm not seeing a headline that's causing it, but the 30-year this is the 30-year. You had a situation where you're at almost 2-decade highs on the US 30-year. You had the long-term bonds in Germany, France, and the UK all hit more than decade highs as well. So you have a lot going on in long-term rates that is they're tanking right now. So you could pull up, if you're as a trading vehicle, your TLT is going to be the 20, but there you go. It's breaking out as well. So there's the fundamentals are sort of supporting this move that we're seeing in the SPY, even if you're not necessarily seeing some kind of a crazy headline. like, you know what? There's no point speculating what's causing the move. We can just go over. But it was pointed out in the chat. It's like, yeah, we are seeing rates move pretty big, and maybe that's it. Maybe there's something technical going on. You get the drop in rates, and that's a good sign, because that's one of the bigger concerns out there. Is like, well, how long was can yields be up there and the market just continue to blast? But that is going to be a fantastic sign if that trend continues. So keep an eye. Like today, maybe don't care about like the VIX or whatever else you're using to look at the futures. You want to keep an eye on treasuries. If you want to look at it via TLT, or just maybe have the 30-year up there to see if it maintains that trend, that's going to be important. But here we go. Headline. Starting September 9th, U.S. Treasury will increase liquidity support. Buybacks is 10 to 20 in the 20 to 30-year bonds from $2 billion maximum to at least $4 billion per operation. Mm-hmm. Don't fight. Yeah.
That'll do it.
That'll
do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah. So obviously,
that'll play.
As these rates fall,
as they say.
Become, just for those of you, just a little bit of interest rate 101. As the interest rates fall, you could probably look to TLT as well. I'm just guessing on this one as well. That's going the other way, because this is the TLT. So this is as the rates come back in, the price of the equity goes higher. But as this sort of happens, and Neil just showed you the 30 years. So as rates become a little bit more, on the downside, it becomes less attractive for cash, right? And so people would like to put their money to work back in the market. So, if you can get 4 or 5% on your money, you're more likely to do that. If you only get 3 or 4% on your money, you're more likely to maybe sit in equities, right? So that's kind of what that is showing you there. And that could be a reason as well, as you mentioned there, with Bitcoin, possibly going a little bit higher there, as well as risk assets, catch a bid. So there it goes. And then, even NVIDIA, we were saying about how they didn't really have the greatest of days yesterday, but they also really didn't get hit too hard. And there goes NVIDIA back up to 221 right now. Not falling too much, man. There, 227 all-time highs, weekly highs is what we're looking to break through there. 237 all-time highs coming for NVIDIA. So we'll have to wait to see if this market continues its upside play. Moderna kind of going to sleep a little bit right now. It's a good thing that we did get that small little trade-off there to make this more back into 1-for-1 now. If it breaks 115, we're going to be out of Moderna. But all right, it's been a lot of us and not enough of them. I don't think we've even been back to Dara or Sharif. I don't know if it's been like
got busy.
It's almost been 50 minutes, I feel like, right there. Let's go back and see what they're up to at the desk.
We're going to talk some Amazon and some drone expansion. But before we get into that, I want to go over the story again here for the bonds. So this came out, I think, a little bit before or around when we got that drop in USO. So very well could be probably why the market's moving higher here as well. Basically, as of September 9th, they're going to be, Treasury here is going to be increasing buybacks for the 10 to 20 year and the 20 to 30 year treasuries. They're going to be rising from $2 billion to at least $4 billion per operation. So that's the deal here. If I get any more details, I'll keep you posted, but that's a good look, and it's being viewed by some that I'm seeing on social media as potentially a way that these rate cuts can be factored in here for President Trump, rather, because we know that's what he wants. Let's take a look here before we, start the rundown in a couple minutes. AMZN and this drone expansion plan. Right now, this is lifting higher here with the whole market, but they do have a story of their own.
They do. They want to expand about 500 cities, towns by the year end. That's a 6-time increase from what they're servicing right now. But guys, it's a bit of a different take than they've approached this so far. So currently, they have these isolated launch sites for their drones. We're talking about Lockford, California. We're talking about College Station, Texas. Those are some of the trial sites. So this new 500 city town expansion is going to operate a little bit differently. It's going to actually operate directly within their existing kind of same day delivery fulfillment centers and delivery stations. So they're not going to build these isolated drone stations. They're going to use the infrastructure they already have, assuming that saves costs. Also, the new type of drone, the MK30, what does that do? Well, it gives them better range. It gives them all-weather operation, light rain, higher temperatures, nighttime conditions. So we're talking about drone delivery, almost 24/7 here. But it will have a 40% reduction as well in noise, which has been some of the issues, especially in smaller towns. Strict 5-pound limit, though, so not everything is going to be deliverable. We're talking about probably prescription meds, cosmetics, small electronics. Think of like groceries, something along those lines. And then the unit cost economics here. It's not good. So they're doing this more from a convenience perspective because, believe it or not, it costs them far more than actually sending a Flex driver or a Rivian EV ground route. So this is not profitable for them, but you got to assume it probably moves the needle with some of their customers.
Yeah, it's 8:59, so I guess right about now we'll get into starting with our watch list, which always starts with a look at the futures. We'll get into that in just a second, but yeah, a little bit of a pullback here in the SPY. Again, guys, in case you missed it, Treasury doubling long-dated bond buybacks from $2 to $4 billion per operation starting on September the 9th. How are the futures looking this morning?
Finding key support. We lost 770 briefly yesterday. As you can see on the chart here, we are above it right now, but we did find support right at that level we spoke about. 767.5 was kind of the midpoint between 765 and 770, and that's exactly where we found support for almost here. It looks to be like 5 4-hour candles. So first level of resistance is going to be 772.5. Halfway between 770 and 775. If we really do catch a bid for whatever reason, we're looking at that former area of resistance, 775 as resistance level 1.
And right now we're looking at our free Trader TV Live watch list. This watch list has a look at the tickers that are making moves, news that could be in focus, items on watch that are going to be happening throughout the day, and of course, economic data that's in focus. You can find all of that again for free. You can either type that URL that you see right there, or you can hit the link in the description. Either or, it'll get you that free watch list. Now, at the top of the free watch list, and at the top of, I think, a lot of traders' minds here, MRNA. This is a really positive story here for Moderna with Merck. This cancer drug here, combined with Keytruda, found really positive results for specifically 2 endpoints were met.
Yeah, a historic trial here. The first time ever a cancer vaccine has had a phase 3 success. Good look for them. We already talked about some of the details in the morning. This was not the first time around they had submitted it for the FDA for approval. They had done so back in 24 when it was still a phase 2 drug. They were rebuffed at the time. They held on to their convictions, and here we are. They're going to submit it again now. But it is hyper-personalized, basically a 34 target payload. So this is not coming off the production line on a standard unit. It is going to be customized to the type of cancer the individual has that could hurt in terms of costs and delays. And then last but not least, toxicity was well tolerated, especially as you compare it to some of the sister drugs here, Keytruda. One as well. 44% toleration here with, 45.5% for this new drug relative to the 44% toleration for Keytruda.
How do you guys feel about MRNA? Are you guys looking to take a dose of this stock? Sean, I know you were already involved.
I mean, thankfully, you don't need a dose for anything that they're dealing with right now. But yeah, I mean, it's a good look and good pun there. But we're just, I wrote it down already on the note today, right? I mean, just been pretty busy here, going over stuff. We didn't have our guests there today, but I just said 115, should hold. So we're going to wait to see if that is the case. That's where VWAP is, pretty happy to see if that one, winds up holding there. So I'm going to try to stop out if we break below the 115 mark. And I know that there is some, gathering there around, did get as low as 112 or 113 there. We actually had some of those fills. But yeah, just basically a break there of 115. I think I don't need to play VWAP as, a specific level. This is going to just be somewhere where we've sort of bought it up here at 116, 117. So we'll try another little bid right here. And then if we drop through 115, then we'll stop out of Marvell. I almost said again, out of Moderna. So just not trading it like very heavily here in the pre-market. You just got to make sure that you are okay with the amount of shares, that you have, and, just trying to massage it a little bit here. If it holds, it holds. But up 85%. I mean, we sort of said it before. It's very difficult to judge, what exactly this is going to mean to the end of the day pricing of this stock. I mean, I feel like once options really get involved in this, we could see this name really hit to the upside there, as people will probably run in, I feel like anyways, just like those meme days, and just start to buy up some of those calls, and that would create a squeeze. So that's what I'm looking for here early. You know what we didn't actually...
And they report next week.
That's what I was going to say. We didn't actually look down at... well, they should have a good report, I would think. I didn't look to see there what Moderna's shortfall...
Oh, it's tiny. It's only 5% now.
It
used to be...
I feel like it's probably more. Well, we have 15 right here
on
on
Mine's
BetSync.
wrong.
Yeah, so 15% short right now for Moderna.
I have Moderna up. It says 4.8.
I don't know. This is Moderna right here. Common stock 117.50.
Get it together, Benzica.
Just reload your page, or maybe I have to. But yeah, so 16% short float, I think does obviously help this move higher. It makes sense why people would be short. I mean, there it is right there. We just took another. We just went long at 117.20 there to average in. So far so good on that one as it breaks back up through 118. But no, I was going to say, like, anybody that knew these trials were sort of ongoing or potential release of data there, I guess if they missed or if it was not as well received, I don't think we would have been down 87%, but definitely a name to watch out for here. As we just did what we wanted to do there. Buy some 117s, hold it against 115, get a little piece out as it continues to climb higher. So I'm at 118.75s. If that fills, then that's basically our 1-to-1, and then we'll see if we can get a smoke show once this market opens back up. So I like Moderna here. Why not?
Well, for me, it's riding VWAP pretty hard. If it loses a volume weighted average price off the open range, I want to look for the short. I don't think this is nothing to do with VKTX, but in the back of my mind, I will never forget this one. And because I was like involved when this happened on Viking, and it was probably the luckiest exit of my entire like trading investing career, because it was a known trial result and it was trending up into it. It legitimately spiked from 40 to 65 in the pre. By the end of the day, it was at $25 now. I don't think Moderna's going to have anything like that. Moderna's not going red. It's not going to completely give this up. This is way too big of a deal. But I just feel like the profit takers could end up coming into this. And if they do, it's going to be all about that. It's showing you that VWAP is the hold level. So if it fails underneath VWAP and starts closing bars underneath, I think it's a place to play. Right now, that's 115, but that could easily trade. If anyone that's wondering about this EVAC stock, basically it ran on the news, just to go over it. It ran on the headline from Moderna and then just immediately started giving it up. Didn't really get to look at it soon enough, because by the time I realized, oh, this thing is dying, but I just want to be short this as it's got a bit of a flat bottom break on the daily. So I'm playing it off at this 3 level. If it breaks 20s, I want to be out. But yeah, Moderna, this is probably a stock that is it'll do so much volume today that you want to be open-minded with it. So VWAP's showing the level right now. My preference would be to be short it this far up. So that means not touching it until the open. A story that seemed like it was going to be one of the bigger ones today, but has gone to the wayside after this Marvell. By the way, Marvell made another high, is going to be NBIS offering.
And Nebius here, given the size of this move to the downside and the speed of it when it first came out, again, around 7:40 a.m. today. So NBIS here coming out and announcing a private offering of convertible senior notes in 2 series. It's going to be valued cumulatively at $4.5 billion.
With an upsize of $5.175 billion. Let's talk about this. So the initial ones here, 2.75 due 2030, 1.75 due 2034. However, there is a green shoe option here. So initial purchasers, they have a 13-day over allotment option to buy another $375 million. That's in 2030, and they can buy another $300 million in 2034 if exercised. All of the options, $5.175 billion would be the raise. However, it's a 10-year maturity. So what is that? So essentially, what you're going to have here is a debt that lasts longer than the usability of the GPU. That is not smart. No redemption buffer prior to 2028 as well, so you can't call or redeem the notes early. 2030 notes locked into February 28, 2034 notes locked into August 28, unless the prices surge past a very strict 130 to 150% conversion thresholds. Last but not least, the settlement options. The notes they offer flexible settlement mechanisms. You can get them in cash, get them in Class A shares, or hybrid Adair.
How are you two viewing the neoclouds this morning?
My somewhat concern with this NBIS bounce, like a lot of times, like your thought is, okay, you get an offering or whatever it might be in this situation like this, and you look for it to find a bit of a base because it's going to sell off. You find a base, and then you work off of that. It's like you sort of reprice what we think the stock is worth, and it can be small caps, big caps, and then you get a bit of a bounce. That said, well, you got to figure that most of the reason why NBIS just bounced was this move by the U.S. Treasury to support the long end of the bonds, and it's just following the market to the upside. And if that's really the case, That's all like the real extension that we got to bust this through the volume weighted average price. If that's true, I don't know how much I'd like the relief rally here. Like this one sets, if it's not above 245, if you're not breaking out above 245, then I don't want to consider this relief legitimate just yet on NBIS, and it almost still sets up as a bit of a short. Like today, like I had it pretty, like my list is pretty simple. Oh yeah, I'm missing a little bit of data on SMCI. I got SMCI on the list because a couple of days ago it faded 40, and then it had rejected 39, and then yesterday it rejected 38 for a good short. So I'm just looking at those even dollars. It's at 37 already with this market move up, and I wouldn't want to fight it there. But if we get to 38, I feel like at SMCI I would look for the short side of the trade. I'm not. There's probably, if we get a sustained rally because of this treasury story, I feel that NBIS could be risky because they're the one name that has negative news.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I was just looking at the move back that NBIS had and how impressive that was. We did. I pulled my 118. We took a basically 120. We took 118, 119.80s there. It does go as high as 121, 122 there on the 117 reloads. That was $5 there in the money again, but we didn't take it, which we should have. Right back up there to the 25 period moving average. So let's see. I'm going to rate at 122 again, see if we can get some for Moderna. I actually like CoreWeave just a little bit better, only because it's going this way with the market now, and you are trying to bounce off of, again, if we're talking about the Neo Cloud, you are trying to bounce off of the 50 period moving average, and you are right at the 200 period. So you guys remember a couple of days ago, we were long and short on CoreWeave on its earnings, and it was a nice move higher. Then it fell back in. There was some deal news or something. And I obviously wasn't here yesterday, but that was a nice fall from 105 down into 90 yesterday. So what a huge move on CoreWeave. You can definitely get some bidding going on here. I'd like to see it break through 85 before we actually get like negative on this stock. So I'm going to stay positive. So if we do get a dip down in, I mean, it's $94 today. I don't think we're going to get too far back, but you know, generally speaking, looking for a trend spot. This is your 5 minute chart, and this is a 200 period moving average. If I can stumble that out, that's at 100. So if the market does continue to run higher there, why not look for a little bit of a short in between like 100 to like 102? That gap fill goes all the way to 106. We talked about that, just mentioning that from what we were talking about earlier on this week. And then there's the move back in. So yeah, looking to see if we can, you know, make its way back up to $100, run into this 200 period moving average, and then maybe look for a short there on CoreWeave. So yeah, I really like it. If you get anything back in around 90, we'll take that as well. But I'm not sure that's going to come in today for CRWV. But yeah, you know, the cloud names continue to be pretty hot names to trade. I mean, the moves that you can get on these names have been absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, nice move there on CoreWeave, and the negative story there for NBIS. But I still think NBIS goes higher on the broader market today.
Yeah, at least on the surface here, it looks like Target hit the bullseye with this Q2 report. You had EPS beat, sales beat, and a guidance raise. But the stock, pretty tepid performance here on this report, Sharif.
There's a reason. It's distorted. So let's first talk about the actual numbers. Q2 earnings beat $26.5 billion in revenue. Net sales, that's a good look there. 5% year over year, 5.3% year over year growth there. And their comparable sales up 3.8% versus the 2.4. But let's dig into this a little bit deeper. Let's look at EPS. EPS on the top, or at least superficially, came in at $4.11, but it was heavily buffered by about $1.65 worth of tariff-related refunds. So if you strip that out, it grew nicely, 20% to $2.46, but that's markedly lower than $4.11. So let's not get it twisted. Also, traffic, not the price of the ticket, is what's driving up sales here. So that's where the comps is. Juxtapose that to yesterday when we spoke about Home Depot, where we talked about the average price per item because of inflation going up. So the comp sales were distorted in that way. No, in this case, it's the opposite. It's more foot traffic coming in, and the ticket price just grew by 0.2%. Not a big look there. But non-merchandise monetization outpaced core retail growth. What am I talking about? I'm talking about their ad business. They call that the Roundel app network. I'm also talking about Target 360, which is a subscription, as well as Target Plus third-party marketplace, kind of taking a page out of Amazon and Walmart's book there, where they're allowing third-party resellers to sell on their network. They're making money off that. Good look there. But digital comps is really what stood out to me here, guys. 25% year-over-year bump in digital comps. When we look at the foot store traffic here, it's almost quadruple that size, Adara, and a lot of it was driven by that Target 360. It's called drive up and pick up, essentially same-day delivery. That grew by 25% year-over-year.
Yeah, the ads and delivery elements of this report really stand out. Sean, I know that you are a long-term holder of Target, I believe, and I know you've been really pro-Target. How do you feel about this name today? And even in a long-term perspective, how do you feel about Target?
I like it. But I actually, this Moderna is really going off right now, up to 123.50. So we're now 650 in the money on this one. But yeah, no, Adara, look, I mean, I've liked it because I just was looking at it before and I was like, this thing has a dividend. And, you know, and it was, and I posted it up, I think it was in October. I keep showing the tweet about it. And it was at record low valuations. Its PE was like, I mean, let me see what it is even today with this move higher. This PE was like in the low teens or something like that. Yeah, see, like right now it's only 20 and 18. You know, so back when this stock was an $80 name and we liked it, yeah. I have to admit it, we talked about it live on the show here. We didn't get out the first time. It broke through to 125, went up to 130. When it came back in right there and was hovering around this 50-period moving average, I did get out of 75% of the trade because we were long down here at 80, and I was just like, you know what, want to get into some more cash and to buy who knows what. Whatever I bought at this time is probably down. Right now, should just held on to some Target. But yeah, we still got a piece of the pie here. I like the numbers. I mean, wow, we just got 125 right now on Moderna. Just ripped right there, $7 on that one. It's hard, sometimes a little bit hard for me to focus when we're trading in the pre-market here, but hey, it's kind of a news/trading show anyways. So, but there it goes. Again, like the stock. I don't really know if we're going to trade it here today again. Good numbers, obviously, as Adair just mentioned, they a little bit of talk about tariffs there, wondering how that's eventually going to hit the name. And then we did have bad retail numbers last week, but we wait for, again, Home Depot, Walmart. Walmart is tomorrow. There did Home Depot report yesterday. I can't.
Yeah, we had a issue.
Yeah.
That was very.
Yeah, it wasn't much going on there, but I actually really like Home Depot as well. So that could be. I guess lunch.
They had
lunch.
Concerns.
Feels like it might be lunch with this time, but breakfast has now arrived, and the Banana Man has arrived as well. Randy shops at Home Depot. I'm certain of that. Right there, but none of us shop.
But people
at
weren't doing bigger products. That's the problem.
Yeah. Your kid works at Home Depot.
Oh, there you go.
Throw down the, get some of the, the deals over here then, Randy, those percent. Do employees get anything there?
Of course they. No?
Not really. Yeah, I didn't.
Oh.
There's a story behind that. Okay. So I like Target. I think it still continues to work way out for Walmart. And there's the trade right here. This is why you got to have these offers out. Like that's 124.50. That's back-to-back times. We had gotten 124.50 before it dropping back down right now. So I only have 20% left of this trade, 20, 40, 60, 80. So, out on the way back up. But wow, was that ever a dip by there at 117, man. Like, okay, right there for Moderna. But so far so good there. I really like the Target, but more work needs to be done. This banana is looking really tasty right now.
Yeah, because I haven't had any breakfast. But look, Target. My concern with Target is more what's going on everywhere else. Like the big ramp up that we've had, you're seeing money flow into the metals right now. Gold is breaking out, silver is breaking out, the SPY is breaking out. All the tech names are back. Marvell's going on its own story. And to that extent, it kind of makes you wonder, well, if an earnings name has been rallying going into earnings and we're getting a rotation to put some risk back on, like a sort of a safer retail name might not be able to catch the kind of bid that it normally would in this environment. So I'd stay away from Target today. There's bigger dynamics at work. And as we were saying, someone was asking, look at gold. Oh, this is why we like the miners. Didn't really get any individual names from Raheem. We haven't had Raheem on since we were asking about it, but GDX, the miners, are breaking out. Look at that 200 period. This is where we like the 200 period moving average. That's breaking out. Gold, silver, off the back of this treasury story, are absolutely flying around. US dollars getting smacked. And hey, another positive story. So it's really only NBIS that's the negative story here, because buybacks, we like them. SK Hynix.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about this buyback here, because this is pretty interesting. And I was seeing actually apparently a record here for this company and perhaps even all of South Korea. SKHY $29 billion buyback and cancel here for Treasury shares.
Yeah, absolutely. About 40 trillion yuan, about $29 billion, as Adair mentioned there, of Treasury shares. Rather than spreading that $29 billion over like several years, which a lot of companies do, actually the board here was pretty strict. They mandated a 90-day window to retire. How many shares? 24 million shares. Essentially, the window is August 20th to the 19th of November. Well, they'll have to buy those back. So that keeps a bit of a price floor on the price there. You're also going to have, another dilutive aspect. So this is anti-dilutive, right? But what they've reached an agreement with the board and management with the union is they're actually going to pay some of their employees in shares. And they're going to do that going forward. So you're going to have a sort of a counteracting of this anti-dilutive share buyback. Last but not least, you're going to have a change in free cash flow, right? You got to find the money from somewhere here. So their free cash flow has markedly changed. They're guiding 2025 to 2027 capital return policy from within 50% of cumulative free cash flow to over 50% Adara. So money's got to come from somewhere.
Now, I want to mention as well, too, money's not just going into SKHY, at least from like a U.S. trading perspective here, pre-market. You've got other memory names like SanDisk to the upside right now, Micron poised to open higher, DRAM, I guess that's the sector look. This is near pre-market highs. So there are other ways to trade this memory story beyond SKHY.
Oh, 100%. And usually it'll be DRAM. Look, DRAM tried to go off the open yesterday. It was pretty successful, at least for the first 50 penny move, and then it was a simple reverse short. That ended up going even further than I would have expected. And that high from yesterday is sitting $57.50. You can look at the 15, and anybody pulling up this chart can see the gap above 57.5. And we ran right there on this Treasury story and on the back. I mean, early on it was gapped up because of SK Hynix. This move is not because of the SK Hynix buyback. This is because of the Treasury story that we just got. So 57.5. If it doesn't break this level off of the open, I think we're in pullback mode. I don't believe chasing this move up makes a ton of sense. Keep an eye on the USD, keep an eye on the 30-year, or you can look at TLT, because if that gets a reverse, then we're going to retest some of this support level. Obviously, 55 might not be a deal anymore because we have that gap up. So I'd be looking at the 56 level and VWAP. No break of 57.5, then you got to wait potentially for some dips here on DRAM. That's where I'm going to be executing again.
All right, so for me on SK Hynix, I'll sort of take the other side. I kind of think this one is worth trying to maybe chase this top a little bit here. Such a wild name, right? I mean, this name can run, $10 in a blink of an eye, really. So this is great news. I mean, taking back some shares. I mean, that's exactly kind of the thing that we like to hear. But for me, it needs to go a little bit more than where we are right now. I mean, this I have a little bit of a longer time frame here showing into yesterday's trade for SK Hynix. I was like, this 166 is kind of interesting, 167 there. But then I kind of like, you're going to run into what was happening yesterday at 170. So I like the long. It's just I can't really find a spot that I really think is like a break. And so I was looking at this 68 level, maybe to break that long. Then I think you get $2 into 70, and then maybe there's a problem there. It's pretty violent off the open for sure. It's gonna be spready. So yeah, you might punch the top and then get hit back down for $3 or $4. So it's just a risky trade. There's not like one clear break zone for me here on SK Hynix. So I love the story. I think it's a huge long, and I'm just looking for where to go. I mean, why not just play that dip at 160? Well, I'll answer my own question, is because then you're underneath VWAP and then the pressure starts coming on that stock. But if you do rinse down, let's just wait to see what the imbalances are in 2 minutes. I think you could buy a 160 right into there, So 160 for SK Hynix should be a level that, I look at. So, we'll take a shot there, SK Hynix 160. And I think we'll look back and probably wonder why we didn't punch that 168 long. But, for now, the spread is actually pretty decent. Maybe we'll just keep this on our side burner there and figure out what the story is with SK Hynix there early on. But again, like the stock, I think it's a screaming long, and just trying to find out a space to do that. And, we'll be on it today for sure, SKHY.
Let's talk about another name that I'm sure a lot of traders will be watching today, and one of the top names mentioned in our chat so far by the ticker. It's Marvell Technology, MRVL. And this name is trading sharply higher and actually still at pre-market highs. They announced this agreement with Google via a filing, and they also announced they issued some warrants to Google to purchase up to just under 59 million shares.
Yeah, so a lot of details. Let's get right down to them, and we have some time to come in. So right away, 1.36 million shares is going to be bought within 1 year. So that leaves about 57.6 million shares, warrants, okay, warrant shares, that they're going to vest, if they vest at all, across 240 tranches, with each tranche requiring $500 million in cumulative purchases by Google from Marvell. To fully earn the shares, Google has to generate for Marvell $120 billion in custom product revenue through 2023. It's a big milestone. There's more. The strike price here, very clever here by Marvell. They actually have the strike price at higher than market value at the time, of course, of the announcement. It could go higher. So $206.58. That would, if fully vested, require Google to give Marvell $12.18 billion in cash, in addition to actually getting the shares as well. Now, what the deal here is, it's targeting TPUs. So we spoke about Marvell early in the year, kind of leaving custom ASICs for the more, higher margin and more in demand optical networking. That's going to change in this particular instance. They're going to be doing AI inference. They're going to be doing storage controllers. They're going to do network interface and near memory compute. And then, of course, dilution. You issue this many shares, there's a potential to dilute your shareholder pool if fully exercised. The shareholder pool will be diluted by 6.7%, and it would make Google one of the largest investors and holders of Marvell shares out there. And this looks awfully similar to the 2024 deal that they had with AWS. So they did a very similar thing. It was late 24. They gave them a warrant arrangement specifically for AWS in that kind of staggered way that they're doing it with Google here. So not new for Marvell.
Yeah, and I think the TPU element, though, might have led to this drop for AVGO. This stock dropped sharply just as Marvell popped on this Google deal. So sort of a reverse sympathy play also in focus for AVGO if you prefer looking at the short side of this versus that epic long on Marvell. Another name that I know Sean has been very bullish about. How do you and Neil feel about Marvell this morning?
Okay, thanks for the throw over here again. But I've always felt pretty bullish about Marvell. But the thing is that it's giving me a heart attack because it's very, very aggressive almost every day. Like it was up or down 6% the last 2 days. And now today, finally now, as Chief just mentioned, now Google, one of the large investors, holders now, in the public companies of Marvell. So I really think I like that. I really like Google. I think they will let them vest and just hopefully, we do get a climb upside now on Marvell, on positive. They must be doing something right to get this kind of a deal there with Google. So, for me as an investor, it's really nice to see. I'll be really happy checking the account today as Marvell probably climbing upside once again, into one of the top holdings. So I think I'm going to trim a little bit of it. I've been nervous, just like I've been saying about Meta when Meta had that move higher. And I was like, oh man, we should have got out of some Meta there because just felt like the space was maybe a little oversaturated. And the reason why I talk about this kind of stuff is, and it's not always a PE story, and I know Broadcom's getting kicked in the face right now, but why not make the switch? Like Broadcom's forward PE is 20, okay? Marvell, and it's not always has to be a PE story, but their forward PE is 53. So they're more than double on the P price to earnings as far as expensive stocks go. So yeah, Marvell, really nice day today. Obviously not something that was expected, but yeah, I would say you always want to play back to VWAP, but look at that. It just went from 247 down to 240 there. So this is what I mean about giving you a heart attack. Like that, if you're even holding 100 shares in your own personal account right there, which is, I guess, a decent position, you just lost $700 right there in 2 minutes. So it's just it's pretty violent. So just be careful with Marvell today. I'm not exactly sure what the long story will be here because it's already up 11%.
Yeah.
So I think you got to play the pullback, and I only look for 200 periods, which is just way too far right now. So 222 not going to play, and I definitely don't want to sit at VWAP. But I think VWAP is going to be important because right now it's aligning with this 238. So yeah, I like VWAP down here for Marvell, but definitely a risky business to trade them
I can
today.
see them selling under the VWAP. If you zoom out to the 15-minute, there's a 234 level that's about like that's about it for support up here. So if it dropping $6 probably isn't that crazy. There were some imbalances. We'll get to super chat, but there were some imbalances. Was small sell gone now on Moderna? It was 450,000. Merck is a growing buy of 340,000. I bid to sell of 400,000. That's right at 65K Bitcoin. SLC, just hypothetically speaking, if you had the YOLO, one high risk, high reward stock, which one would you pick? Keep up the great work. You become my #1 favorite host to follow. We appreciate you. I don't know. Pick something in the biotech space. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a story like this moving Moderna, there's probably like everyone's like scouring for like what the next like biopharma like big runner could be. So I mean, there's plenty of things that are shot plays, like CRISPR is something like that. Viking Therapeutics is always one. Those are the first two that come to mind that are even remotely related. But we have not talked about a certain name, which is crazy talk, because we always do. And with only 10 seconds to go, SpaceX, oh, great chart. Okay, there we go. Thank you, SpaceX. SpaceX is right at that 146 high from yesterday. That was the only place it was worth it to short. So if it does an immediate fail of that level, like pop and fail, I would be looking for the south side. Moderna got to VWAP and back. DRAM, this is why we don't chase. There's the sell. Immediately, the market's coming back in. Whoa, DRAM just got smacked. I guess a bunch of things just got smacked. You're already back into the volume weighted average price here on DRAM.
Yeah, we just got a bid there at 117 and out at 120, so another $3 there. But remember, if this breaks 115, we're out right now on Moderna. But we take advantage of that early little run up there in here it goes. It's going to break in mRNA. So here it comes. Watch out for, 115, my hands are already off. So just making sure that that order is in there. So here comes the break. We did take another shot there. Glad we got out of a decent spot there when it ripped up to 120. That was an instant $3. So watching out for Moderna. If it breaks 115, we're going to get out. That might be signaling a short. I just realized I didn't pay for shorts on this one, so I don't know if that is.
They're free.
Oh, they're free. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that could be the break the other way there on MRNA, but let's go. Yeah, there it goes. This is bouncing. Okay, did it even break there? I don't know.
No.
But we got out. Well, I don't know. I got out. So there it goes, breaking back down below. So
my quote's
we
way
got
off.
out just shy of 115 there. So not bad on that one. But yeah, Moderna there. I guess that last little tranche basically flat. Take $3 winner, take $2 loser. So that's happening. And then we also said that Marvell would be a little bit of a risky trade to start with, and there it goes. That's falling back in as well. So just waiting for Intel and watching some more Moderna at this point.
Yeah, same thing. Well, sort of the same thing. I didn't really see it break down, but it didn't hold under VWAP anyways. It bounced off VWAP on Moderna. You didn't quite get down to that support on DRAM. This might end up just being a break through that top, because we didn't get the dip into the pre-market low. So just going to get my stop order locked and loaded, just in case DRAM wants to go for a bit of a jump
Moderna.
To the upside. Yeah, I didn't see it actually break down underneath, but that could have just been my quote.
No, it did.
Like it hasn't. Yeah, it looks like it wicked it, but we haven't really lost the volume weighted average price on it just yet. Going back over to SpaceX, while we got distracted by that potential break, SpaceX decided to drop $3. So yeah. Well, I guess it did fail.
Oh, it did, SpaceX? Okay, I like SpaceX. Yeah, we got back. Oh, yeah, right into
dying.
one. Yeah, so we just reloaded, by the way, on Moderna. So there it goes, man. And yeah, we basically picked the bottom there. And yeah, welcome to my life. What else are we supposed to do? But we get back in right now. We can turn Moderna into Greensville, of course. But yeah, it did. We played it. I thought it did break. I'm going to put my order in now. I saw it break right on my screen. So 114.40. There it is. We get a 120 fill. Let's go. We'll go 114 now, 115 Aussie out, as we're now back in the money here on MRNA as we bought the 117s back one more time. So just trying to make it 1 for 1. It could wind up being a losing trade if it does break back down below, but now we're playing with with house money. I was going to say firm capital right there. 121. I'm going to put a 121.50 order out. As I said, you never know when never know when you're going to get filled right there. And there it goes. Nice little move there. Now $5 back in the money as Moderna. Look, that's twice now we've gotten sort of stopped out at those lows, but never fear. The traders are here as we get right back in that and now rip that upside. So good little trade there on Moderna. Let's just go see if anything else is battling backside. But yeah, good little dip by there. And look, if you're wondering about that level, I only have a few names here on the sticky note today, and one of them is Moderna right there at 115. That just gave you $7 to the long side right there. So far so good on Moderna. Let's just see if it can wind up holding some of those bids.
Yeah, well, the bid's a good one on
There it is,
Moderna because
right
you're
back
not
in.
holding bids on DRAM. As soon as I put the breakout order in, we're headed lower here, so you're still heading to the downside. You know, the NASDAQ, ES, both coming back off. Remember, it was all about treasuries. The entire move was about treasuries to the upside, and you're sort of seeing them hold on. So it still feels like, to me, like TLT is a 20-year. The story, if you're just tuning in now, U.S. Treasury supporting the long end, the 20s and the 30s, because obviously they were at some all-time highs. There's some 20-year highs, and that's putting some pressure on yields, which is good for the bonds themselves. But if we don't lose this bid, I still think the long should be on. Once you lose it, I'm punching short SMCI, because that's the name that I like to the south side underneath the 38 level. And yeah, I mean, Moderna doesn't want to break the 115. I only want to be short Moderna, so I probably will not touch it until it's underneath and losing that 115 level. So it's just going to be DRAM. And I'm still in that EV. This was the sympathy play to Moderna. In my opinion, stocks should only run when they have news. So it died. I'm just short, looking for the LOD here. It's down, just trying to get filled in the 80, and then 70s is the actual low. That's a bit of a dumpster fire in the daily chart. Yeah, I guess we're not going long DRAM. That just broke VWAP and is dying here.
Yeah, everything's getting hit right now, I feel like. Oops, what was that? SpaceX. Oh, I got long Intel. Okay, so I'm long SpaceX right here at 140.50. Oh, sorry, 141.50. We'll try it. I'm going to see if we can get something out. A little upside right now. It's 30 cents. There it is. So we take 50 cents right there on SpaceX, you know, the one that I love to trade. And then we do have another fill here that's I'm not loving right now, and that is this trade on Intel as it just falls back into 95. I mean, this was a level that I thought we liked down here. So again, it's 935. We always say we don't want to get railroaded. So we take a little piece there at the 200 period moving average at 96.20s. Then we just got a little bit more down there at 95.50. I was actually waiting for 95.50. It bounces clean off of me. So I take some 60s there. We'll wait for a 95.50. Actually, you know what? Now we can cancel that. Let's go a little bit lower. Let's go to 95, like 25s here. And then just, okay. And look out for this low break. If this breaks 94.50, let's get out and we'll just sort of bleed the rest of the way down here on Intel. We're going to try the long right now. It's really come back in. We said this 95 level was a Lip Bhutan buy zone. So we'll see if he wants to represent that one. But here it goes, man. Yeah, spin the money around for SpaceX. Spin the money around and around for Moderna as well. Nice little level there for SpaceX, 142.50. You know, we're back into that name there. I'm sure there was a lot of trading of this yesterday as well. But for right now, SpaceX up to 142, just a couple outs there. Now, it looks like we will take the L. Well, who knows? On Intel, that's okay. Getting weaker, right? I mean, the market's falling back in. I can only imagine that our boy Marvell is probably falling. 237, a little bit better. But yeah, right now, everything a little weaker, especially this Intel. Wow. What was the story yesterday with Intel? Because remember, got really hit there. It looks like we'll mess this one up.
I feel like it was just technical, to be honest, with Intel, but go ahead.
Story yesterday, the day before, Lip Bhutan bought a whole bunch of shares.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's basically what I was trying to. Okay, there it goes. That's basically what I was trying to play off of there. But Intel, we had one unit, so losing at the end of the day, they're 94.50s. It does kind of suck, but we'll get back into this name if it does battle itself back off of those levels. But there it goes right now. Intel. We can check out SKHY. We were saying like we didn't really have a level here for this. So as the rest of the market falls, so does SK Hynix. Right now. But yeah, Intel out there at 94.50. Give me a reason to get back in and I will. But for right now, it's wait and see on Intel.
It's pure bleed everywhere. I'm trying to find where there might be a kernel of relative strength. For a second there, that was actually true in Bitcoin. It's no longer true. That's even under VWAP. I'm trying not to rush. DRAM is still falling. Remember I said we're probably not going to get back to those closing prices? Yeah, 55. We're like $1 away on DRAM. Let's just drop a couple of bucks in here, and all of the memory names are getting absolutely smoked. So if you're looking to buy the dips, you're still waiting patiently. Otherwise, you're probably getting absolutely smoked buying any of these dips. But IBIT looks a little bit better, so I'll probably end up there first because this can hold on to 36.7, which is support, or regain VWAP, and then I can finally punch long into something.
All right. Here it is, man. $8 now in the money. So Solar Tech, man. I guess this is what you're referring to because it wouldn't be the Intel trade, but you're welcome today for all the help. If you're trading with me anyways, I guess that's what you meant. But there goes 126 now for Moderna. We're long. This could be, well, it's $8 now. Nice little move higher there. Yeah, let's just put an offer now. 120. Let's go to 126 flat. All right, if it takes it, good. And then, you know, that's been the high. Let's go. All right, so there goes Moderna right now. Wake up, everybody. Moderna now kicking upside into that level. So we just got a little piece out there at 126. We'll hold just a bit. And then as that happens, we go flushy as we take a little bit out there and then basically out there. Well, actually, we got one. What price did we even get there on the way back? Okay, we got a good price. 140.98 there. So no real slippage on that stop out. So we take 50 cents on a little bit, lose. So we will be red on this stock, but it's again a cup of coffee. And you know, we'll take the $9 and so here on Moderna. Intel was the one that just, you know, fell against us there. So we'll go basically, well, SpaceX and Moderna are, we'll be red on the day so far because of this Intel trade, but we'll wait to see if we can get some money back on INTC. It looks like the market is falling quite nicely, and I do want to look at the futures at some point here, trying to get into VWAP again. Just took, well, maybe not, just took down that 200 period moving average right now on the TQQs on the 1 minute chart. So definitely a spot to maybe think about here. But yeah, the bleed is good on the NASDAQ so far.
I mean, TLT's bouncing off of VWAP, which I thought maybe that was going to give us some kind of a reprieve, but it's not happening. So again, I want to be trying to find a place to buy the dip, but it doesn't seem like this is the time just yet. That was the first shot, would have been if TLT bounces off VWAP, and then you get something that's relatively strong, but IBIT is still not reclaimed the volume weighted average price. The memory names are still getting smoked. Like DRAM hasn't had a green candle. SK Hynix, which led the way, that's still falling precipitously. So, like, really, you can't really be fighting anything trying to grab the long here. You're just going to be getting smoked. My guess is you probably have Apple having a good morning if we're going to load up here. Yeah, Apple's chart's so good it actually wants to delay having a look at it. So when the market is weak and chip names come back in, Apple's still going to be strong. But now you have a bottoming tail in DRAM. This might be the first chance. First time I actually saw buyers come into DRAM just now. So they're looking pretty good here. It just spiked through, goes all the way to the pre-market low. And, well, not pre-market low, I should say pre-market support. Pre-market support levels, because pre-market's at like 4:30, and we start our charts at like 6. So I'm going to give it to the low. If we make a fresh low, then we just get out of this thing and accept that maybe we're too early on any dip buys. How many times have we seen it when the market dips off the open and the long sometimes is like after 10 o'clock? So even now feels like 10 minutes in could be early.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure what to say right now about Moderna. We wrote down 115 there today. And I mean, this level has just been just all about it. So that 115 is now held a couple times. So yeah, man, I definitely am liking life here on Moderna. Now $10 in on MRNA. So sorry, $11 in now on Moderna as it's going upside right now. We did take a little bit of a shot in the TQQ, so we have half a unit right now. We'll try to get a little bit more if we come back into 72 there, just to see if there is some get up back into the name right there. TQQs, that is your back to the futures play. So we are now in that one. I almost bought some more 94s there, or got back in, sorry, to Intel at 94, and then it kind of whooshed down. So I was like, oh, thankfully I didn't do that. But yeah, this one could be finding a base now in around 94. That washout bottom could be something on Intel, or it could not. But I'm choosing the futures. So Pikachu, I choose you down in and around these levels, and we'll just see if we can continue to sort of dip by something around that 150 marker. And then if we get anything down into 72, that's something for sure that I want to look at. But I'm just going to hold, man. We have 10% left of Moderna. I don't have very much. Let's just see if we can break through some of those highs on MRNA so far. So far, so good, I guess, on that stock. But yeah, and then there goes the TQs on a little bit of a reload. Let's just take a piece out at 65, and there it is. We'll take that now. As it's getting a little bit better here, TQs to the upside. We'll see if we can hold that for a little bit of an extended period of time now. As we take the bottoms up into the 200 period moving average, let's see if it wants to work out. Maybe the NASDAQ has bottomed temporarily.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean,
SpaceX, nice.
First green candles is sometimes that's the way to go. If it's all red, you buy on the first green candle. And it looks like we might get a chance to get to VWAP on DRAM. Micron, those names going to look pretty darn good. You know what, if we're just going to V-shape it, I don't want to sit on the offer and get completely run over. If we reject VWAP, I'll jump out and reload it off for the lows. I think that's going to be the play. I might have missed my shot at IBIT while getting into DRAM, so I don't want to chase it too far. I'm going to park on the bid just at the mid here. You're back above 65,000 on Bitcoin, which doesn't sound like much off of the lows, but believe me, considering how bad Bitcoin has been, it's actually pretty darn good that we're holding that 65K level. So I'm going to try to get long in front of it before this sucker breaks out, because if we head back to the highs, it almost seems like you just rinse a bunch of people out off of that open, but the same story is still true. You know, in 5 minutes, it's not like the U.S. Treasury is not doing what they said they're going to do. The story's still there underlying and should be giving a bid to this market.
Yeah, so we're, I agree. So that's why, I mean, we're long right now, we're long in the futures, and it's starting to work out, so we're making some money back there off that Intel dip opportunity. What's up, Fabian? Yeah, there's a nice move, 72.40, 72.50s, back up to the upside. I did see we were up to $3,500 right there.
Yeah,
So do click.
that.
I don't see the link in the chat.
We crushed yesterday. You guys were so generous.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
unbelievable.
Big day yesterday. So there it is right now. So everyone get going there. Scan that QR code. It's Chop for Charity as Fabian's getting ready to do that one. We only have now just over 9 days left for everybody to get involved there. And we want to say thank you for all of that. Yeah, that's all going for kids. What's it called? Angel hair.
Angel hair.
Angel hair. So yeah, the angel today.
So if you're going to go in chemo and you've lost you lose hair, it's such a positive thing. Because it's such a difficult thing on families, and obviously like a mental challenge as well. But amazing that everyone was contributing so much, especially in the afternoon show.
Yeah, so great job there, and thanks, Fabian. Yeah, good, man. That's fantastic. And you know, Joe and Neil bringing the hype yesterday, and you guys definitely they're supporting it. So you know, thanks for doing that. And if you guys can keep going, sponsor, that would be fantastic. Anything you guys can contribute would be incredible. Okay, so just real quickly there, the TQs getting some more out there in the 80s now as that continues to go a little bit higher. We did get back in, so let's go, man. We'll see. We are kind of, and it's not a complete reload because we only took a quarter of the shares, but we did reload a little bit of Intel. Still waiting, and we were just debating it down there at 94 after making that low. So, okay, there we go. Wow, our Target, you want to talk about that kind of a play right there. Let's go, man. This is one that we know, you guys, we talked about it. This is in the account. There goes Target right now. Just hoping, for those of you that have some Walmart shares, hoping that they can repeat. But that's a nice move there, up 5% today for TGT. And yeah, man, really creating some nice opportunities there for anybody looking to get long in the pre-market down at 150. But there goes Target, 161 right now. Absolutely on fire there for TGT.
Here it is, and shout out to that one for sure. But I had to ring and register. We said if you failed VWAP, I'm getting out. Anytime you have a downward trending market at the open, even if I think it's a long, it's just a bounce off the lows. We're going to reject that volume weighted average price, jump out. Never got IBIT, I guess. IBIT's still going, so that's still valid. Bitcoin above that 65,000. Didn't get that one picked up at the volume weighted average price. I'm only canceling the bids because I don't want to just be sitting there if we reject the high and then just slam back down. It's not going to make any sense. So we do have a halter that I don't think we have mentioned. Is that really the name of this company? Rising Dragon Acquisition Corp is up 250%. Halted for the third time, I believe. Looks like the third halt on RDAC. We're going to call it that. 22 tap if you happen to be interested. That is, and I'm guessing it's a SPAC. Maybe it's not a SPAC, but it sounds like it's a SPAC to me. RDAC, Rising Dragon Acquisition Corp. Yeah, for sure, that's a SPAC.
I like that.
Which basically, if they don't have they probably have some kind of a combination announcement. If I were to double check, but just watch the levels because this is already a place that it rejected before. Rising Dragon.
Rising Dragon.
Well, if you're gonna come up with a SPAC, you might as well have a cool name. Like, why wouldn't you?
Shopify, NVIDIA. Okay, I mean, NVIDIA was another name that we wrote down there. Just trying to find if anything's sort of matching up with what we want. There goes the market to the downside right there. So I don't know if there was some sort of a news that just broke right there. The NASDAQ just got pumped down to the downside there just a little bit now, 72.20s. Trying to take out the day's low, looking at some of those pre-market levels. You still have a little ways to go. This is where we're going to basically try to get stopped out. If the market takes out these pre-market lows, then we're gone. We thought there was going to be a nice rebound today in the market, just because of kind of the way we started, right? I mean, the market took off there on that Google Marvell news. I can only assume that that's squashed back to the downside right now. But here we come, man. We're trying to fight it, but it's coming right back in right now. That is the TQs. That is Marvell. Here comes the TQs right now. Almost getting ready to take a bid at this level. Let's try it. The market just has to be something. We're going a little short here. Maybe it's oil, maybe it's not, but there we go. We got to get out of Intel. We'll wait to see this TQQ
happening.
trade. Yeah, something definitely going to the downside right now. Dara, what you got?
Oil not moving yet, but I'm getting comments here coming from the parliamentary speaker of Iran, Ghalibaf, as reported by Fars News. He's saying, quote, resistance is the only path to victory, and if we are not prepared for war, negotiations will also be fruitless. So more posturing here from the Iranian side of this U.S.-Iran conflict as the market here drops to new lows of day. USO still not reacting much here, but holding up pretty well.
Yeah, like a lot of things just got like smoked on the bid.
Market might not like
CrowdStrike
what the hell
just
is
got.
going on.
Why is CrowdStrike down so much? I understand the market's falling, but why them? Why 4%? That doesn't immediately compute. Like we were just a second ago, we're at VWAP on DRAM, and now we're absolutely flushing. So I don't even know. I don't want to be on this bid. It'll have to get to maybe another attempt at a bounce off of yesterday's low, but forcing yourself into this just feels like it makes no sense because we're really starting to accelerate. You just lost yesterday's low here on NVIDIA as well, so it's really bleed city. Where's my SMCI?
I mean, thank God we have some Moderna that's now $13 in the money.
I guess it's the only thing to buy right now.
I guess, I mean, yeah, there's nothing else going on to the long
Can't buy
side.
any of this
We
crap.
did get, I tried that 219, but we were in and out of that real quick there on NVIDIA. I'm still going to go 219 if it breaks it back upside again, but definitely not worth sitting here trying to chase anything right now on NVDA. So let's give it a break. If it breaks back above, then we can try it for 50 cents. Or so and see if we get some backside back up to the 200 period moving average. But right now things are heading to the downside. I mean, just to zoom out on the TQs, we are still long on this name. You know, we didn't get too carried away. We just waited for some 72s here. We're trying to trade a little lighter off the open now. So, you know, to give it some of these crazier moves, but 71.50 right there is the low now. So if we continue to go, you know, break that level, that might happen. Then we'll just give it a heartbeat. Then we got to try to punch out because, you know, this is starting to get a little nasty on the downside right now. SpaceX tried to make a move back. I mean, look, Intel was at 98. Now it's at 92. You know, SK Hynix was at, what, 165? Now 157 all the way back in.
Marvell
right?
just broke 35 and it's at 32.
Right. So, you know, we can't, well, and here goes the futures. You know, it's hard to predict anything like this is about to happen. What was the story? Like, what did we just get?
ARM's at 250?
Posturing from Iran.
Posturing. Okay.
But USO's not even moving.
Okay, well, I'll try the long again here, just to average into the TQs. But eventually, man, we got to get out because even though this is Iran news, that's kind of why, when I first heard the story, that's kind of why I liked it. Was like we're getting a move down. We've seen so many moves, you know, happen, and then the retracement just goes the other way. So we're not even seeing really anything from USO. I mean, sure, it's up, but it's not like it's ticking the way this market is. Right?
You know, like to me, it's a bad sign. Like you're not. I just pulled up the 30-year. That's still hanging right around the lows. It bounced off the lows, but there's nothing extreme happening here. So I don't know. Like it's
kind of coming out of nowhere.
Like the annoying thing is like my brain was like, oh, they'll like try to rug us in the more. And all I was really thinking about was a bounce back up in yields, and you'd get like a reasonable dip, and then you just go right back to whatever longs we were thinking about. So this is kind of crazy here. That's why I don't even want to fight being in anything right now. DRAM continues to fall. Like we took one shot at that. Thankfully, we were able to get out of it. So I'm just gonna do what we normally do. What is not dying right now? Okay, the market is dying and Bitcoin's not dying. That's it. So like this is pulling into VWAP and holding it. So I'm gonna take a shot at this because it's still staying close to thesis, which pretty much nothing is at this moment. So I'm gonna grab this one. I can basically get out if it breaks the opening range bottom, and that at least gives me some structure to work off of because, yeah, I don't know. Like DMR worked, that EVAX just continues to sit in the range we like, but everything else is defying what we were expecting.
I mean, yeah, but except for this one. This is a $20 winner. We wrote down here Moderna. I mean, look what we wrote down. Moderna 115 long, okay? So that's what we have. It came right into 115 right there, and now it's $20 upside right there on MRNA. So yeah, absolutely monster trade right there. There's the 115 that we highlighted. There's the 135 that we're at right now. So that's going to be a good one there. Off the sticky note, it's actually higher than that, 136 and change now on MRNA. All right, man, the number one stock today has been, for me, off this low right there's the TQs, just because we've been buying that. Obviously, Moderna is going to be the number one. I don't have anything else green. We're red on Intel. We're red, well, NVIDIA is small red, as is SpaceX. So those are just two names that we can sort of rely on right now for at least saving us a little bit. We didn't get too smoked on it. But the TQs, we thought that there could be some rebound in this name. So we're now back to flat on this name, as it just went up to 78 there. We did get something out there at 80s. But hopefully this can continue to climb higher as maybe the bad news has washed us down and now we can get back to the upside. So we'll try to hold on to a little bit of that one. But really it's Moderna. Wow, now Moderna is now just the face slapper. This is a $22 winner right now on Moderna. And it's not like it's a fluke. I mean, this is literally stuff we had written down 115. So we have it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times at those levels right there. So there goes Moderna, just absolutely ripping up now, $22 in the money. We said that, you know, if you're going to trade options, why not do that? And there goes Moderna, just an absolute monster right there. But, you know, we're still waiting for the TSX, the TQQs to get back to the upside here. Maybe if we break 135, we'll get out of this one. Just capture the profit, but it's a nice move there for Moderna.
Yeah, that's a day maker there, and you just reminded me. That's also what's strong. All you had to say was the TSX. Gold is doing perfectly well here. I think gold, silver, Bitcoin, up. Moderna's got story, so it doesn't care what the market's going to do today. Like the market could probably reverse and go down 2%. It's still going to make its own move. But the kernels of strength are not in all the tech-related names. It looks like it's going to be. I hesitate to say safe haven because that's not at all remotely what Bitcoin has been, but that is still what's happening, so you got to be able to respect it. There are some other names out there that seem like they're not dumpster fires, but like if I had to make an argument as to why Meta's bouncing, it's because it's been the worst. Like when you're bad, then everything else, when everything else is good and you're bad, then when the reverse happens, they're getting kind of like the Apple treatment here. Meta, just remember, they're in court right now with Meta. And that can go either way for them. It's a gigantic court case. So even when it catches a minute bid, just understand they're under the gun, and how that plays out, how big the fine they're going to end up paying, because there will be one. It's a matter of how big it's going to be and how restrictive they're going to be on some of their policies online. So at the end of the day, I'm going to stay away from Meta until proven otherwise. Let this court case play out. But I understand it is making a little bit of a bounce.
Man, I just wish we would have followed our own rules there. When Meta was at 680, I was like, this is the new tobacco name. And it's just getting absolutely rugged right now. But here we go, man. Cha-ching. All right. So now we're a little bit in the money, at least, finally. We just take a couple more out here at 72, as now the futures are starting to finally battle its way back. I was debating taking a 219 break on NVIDIA, but the problem, it's not a problem, but the thing now is that I have this trade on the futures. So that's kind of like my proxy to everything getting back to the upside. So we'll just try to hold on to that one. Remember, we're now $23 in the money on Moderna, so that stop still remains the same there at 135. If we do continue to climb up, great. I'll just adjust the stops as we continue to go. It's not a trailing stop. This is actually just waiting for, like, I don't trail at $5 or anything. This is just a level that I'm kind of waiting for right now. So if that does come through, great. We'll get stopped out, but hopefully there's a continued motion higher. Then we can use 140 potentially as our stop zone right there on Moderna. But hey, man, $24. It's a pretty good one, as Neil said, a day maker, so we appreciate that. And then coming back upside now would be the TQs. We're just going to watch out for that. SK Hynix. You know what? Name SpaceX. We haven't really looked back at that. So let's go have a quick look. I mean, interesting, interesting for sure. Barcoding down here at 138, zoom it back out a little bit. Not really too much there. I mean, you like to break above 139. This is why I like the 140. It's just we broke through, so we were able to get out. I think we actually got out at a much better price. By the way, the futures just came back in, so we'll give that's back to flat right there. I think you got to really wait for this, maybe this 135, 136. The flush in the market is not necessarily finished yet. I mean, it was a nice move higher there. And then you just talked about TL. Well, we both talked about this earlier on.
Treasuries, but
must still be going down. The long end there. So as TLT goes back up on the price side of it, the yield's getting worse as price goes back higher. So surprised that the NASDAQ isn't, well, there it goes right back up, isn't continuing its move. So we'll put another bid out there, an offer out, at 72, get it, and then we'll see if we can go a little bit higher now as the market's still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no question about it. The market is trying to suss this one out here. I still want to believe that we're going to end up in the green. DRAM it's not looking strong enough for re-entry, so I was able to find another strong name, but it's kind of along the same lines as that IBIT. SLV just pulled into the volume weighted average price and is putting in a higher low. So there's some relative strength here for sure. So I want to take this SLV if we can. It just broke out 80s, but I want to give it back into VWAP. We like our volume weighted average price. Apple. The problem with Apple, the Omega Star, is it's parabolic right now. And yesterday it ran when everything else was dropping. So I feel like if everything else bounces, then Apple's probably pulling back. So like that's the one I wouldn't necessarily want to chase here, would be Apple, just given the way that it's behaved recently and been this like counter trend to all those tech names. So we're going to go to Adara. It's 10 o'clock. So now we have the opening ranges set. We'll find out what's happening now. And the market's probably going to try to figure itself out.
Let's hope so.
Let's talk about what's happening here with the market. Again, just to recap the story that sent the S&P 500 flying to the upside ahead of this opening bell. U.S. Treasury announcing they're increasing the sizes of nominal long-end liquidity support buybacks as of September 9th. Current maximum size is $2 billion per operation. That's going to rise to $4 billion per operation. That's for, I believe, 10 to 20 years and 20 to 30 years. S&P 500 right now, though, poised for its third straight red candle on the 15-minute chart. Let's talk about Moderna here, because MRNA also with some positive news, just pulling back a little bit from intraday highs, but up well over 100% so far. We closed yesterday around $63, currently high of day just above $140. They announced alongside Merck positive top-line results from the phase 3 Interpath trial. Apparently they met primary and key secondary endpoints. That saw at least 2 endpoints that were met for melanoma patients. So good look here for Moderna. Obviously, Merck, another name involved in this story. They're also trading sharply higher from 135 all the way up to 150. But I was seeing Tempest, TEM, a strong sympathy play as well. This name, though, was giving back some of that move to the upside. We'll also take a look here at Marvell, MRVL. This is another name with a pre-market move. This move happening a little bit later, around 8:30 a.m. Now it's an agreement with Google, which includes issuing Google warrants to purchase just under 59 million Marvell shares at, I believe, $206.58 per share. Last but not least, Nebius, NBIS at lows of day, well below this pre-market low here, trading lower after announcing that $4.5 billion proposed private offering of convertible senior notes. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and we'll send you off over to Sean and Neil.
Thank you, Adara. Always a great deal when we get some news from Adara and get abreast of what the market is doing for us. But there's a deal that you're not seeing from your broker. It's an offer you're not getting, that's for sure, because the markets are extremely active. Man, are they really active today. And for traders, this environment's going to give you big opportunities, bigger moves, more setups, more momentum. But to take advantage of all of this, you need a couple of things. You need some discipline, of course, and you need access to capital. That's where Trade the Pool can come in. Instead of being limited by the size of your personal account, traders can access the firm's capital and focus on just executing your strategy and just managing your own risk. You don't fear blowing up your personal account if it's not your money, and there's no more moving your stop too early because you're worried about your savings. This is called limited risk trading. So if you want to take advantage of the volatility in today's markets without risking your own capital, visit tradethepool.com. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. And speaking of this market, was able to get SLV in here, a little extended from VWAP. Don't necessarily love how far away from the volume weighted average price we are. So we're going to scalp, and I zoomed it out too and realized, oh, this is now a bit of a it's a rejection of yesterday's high and then this lower high. You know what? Now the more I look at this, I might just trim it right here. I don't like that setup at all. So I'm going to try and just get some out, like really shallow, and trim it and then see if we can't. Yeah, long should be closer to VWAP. Way too tight to that prior high. Bitcoin has been a little bit better. Bitcoin's headed back towards a potential 2-day breakout. This is better because it's at least holding VWAP, bounce off, and breaking yesterday's tops. We're at 65.1, so 65,000 is now in the rear view for us, which I think is a good sign for Bitcoin. That's still
fall.
Down, what, 50%?
Yeah, well, what
was the high?
126 or so?
Oh, so we didn't get, yeah, okay, yeah, close.
Was it 126?
I think it's somewhere around there. So we're still down 50% from the highs, but this is about as good as it's gotten for a while for Bitcoin, is just doing these little moves. It's got to take out 38, and that's 68K to do anything good, but for the day trade, it's going to give you some scalping opportunities as well. Yeah, this is absolutely wild what's going on with the market, because the second everyone was all worried about rates, it's like, oh no, look, 20-year highs or 19-year highs in the 30-year, and everybody's rates are going higher across Europe as well. And then all of a sudden we get the Treasury stepping in. The only thing I can think of is the market's like, well, if they had to step in, that's not a good thing. That's all I got for you. That maybe that's the reason, and we're selling off without there even being a huge move in the other direction in rates. Like, rates did not come back in. This market's selling off on its own.
I'm going to try a short here at 140. I tried a couple of shorts there in the 130 because it fell off. Okay, well, first of all, we're going to get stopped out at 141 right here. Just trying to take a small shot there at a 140 break back down. I got some 139s out there on Moderna. There it goes. Okay, so I think we just should basically rethink about this. Once it stopped out at 135, it made a move down to 131 there and bounced. So I was like, let's short it against this high there. So we are fine, but we didn't take too many shares. This last one, I waited for it to break back down below 140 again right there. So we took 2 shots there, stopped out. And the last one right there, I took the short, breaking back through 140. And I was actually thinking about, we could have took $1 on it, but we didn't. And then, wow, now it's gone. 125% for Moderna. Wow.
What did you say the short flow was? Because mine was wrong.
Yeah, it was 20%.
Damn.
So
it's trading like it's 50.
Yeah, it is trading like it's 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but right now you are getting some kind of money if you're trading on this name because it is just ripping right now to the north side there. I still want to wait for a pullback, to eventually wind up happening right there, but the reversion has not been reverting. So we'll have to wait to see if that winds up happening here at all for this name.
There's something that, look, we said it anecdotally, but I think I've heard Luis say it, that whenever locates on something this parabolic are free, I can tell you right now, here at Real Trading, you're not paying a dime for locates to short this thing. They're dirt free, meaning anybody that's a day trader probably can be trying to short this for a reversion. The barrier to entry is low, means there's more intraday shorts to squeeze. If you had to pay a bunch for locates, like say it was like $1.50 a share, less people would do it, and sometimes that would make it a little bit less intraday squeezing. But it's now gotten like criminally, and it's insane where it's going. For sure. So yeah, you know what? I admit to myself that I don't like that silver setup as much. So I probably shouldn't have taken that entry. And then when I zoomed it out, didn't love it. So scalp, I'll still try to get it to the high. But at least now, if it were to retake VWAP because we scalped too much tight, then it wouldn't be a loss. IBIT, on the other hand, this one just broke out and took the 37. So this off VWAP, the VWAP retrace trade. Like wait that opening range, it then holds VWAP, and then we break out the high. That's even coming back in. Why is it coming back in? Because the market can't catch a bid. Like we're right back in retesting the lows. That's not to be frustrating. It's just, I don't know, like the read on what was going to happen with yields and the market.
Holy.
Despite the fact that, so far, like individual trades have been good, it's still not exactly what I was going to be expecting. Like we got the clean bounce on TLT. You got the treasuries, you got the 30-year calmed right back down in its holding range, and yet the market doesn't want to catch a bid.
Yeah, this has been absolutely amazing. This is now 145 coming through now for Moderna. Like, wow. Okay, well, that's now $30 higher. Like, if we just stayed The problem is we got stopped out there, else we would still be in. But, unfortunately, trailing stops and whatnot. Yeah, are you in this, Joe, too? Because there it goes, straight up to the upside. Now 132%, now up absolutely huge. I love how Rob gets you a coffee but doesn't get me one. Like
He didn't get you one?
The guy is something else.
Oh,
no, because he puts in the chat, and I'm not looking at the chat because I'm actually trading over here, and you put it in, so I missed it. But I'll go get my own in a minute. So, anyways, 146. Nice upside move there for Moderna as it keeps on going, man. I don't. Like, is 150 a spot for Moderna? Now, again, who knows? Let's just zoom this back out. There's 150 right there. If we zoom back out, I don't think you can value this name. I mean, you have a 20% short.
It's impossible to.
Yeah, so you have this big 20% short float that we're kind of talking about there. Looks like it's, definitely creating some upside moves now today, and I just don't know when this name's going to stop. And so we just looked at that 150, maybe a key area. Excuse me. We said the options were going to be a story today, and I guess so, right? I mean, wow, there they go. Maybe we can get an update from Joey Options over there, but that is just an absolute monster. So it's a good thing that we were able to get out, of course, of NVIDIA as that's still dropping. Intel's dropping like a rock today as well. Marvell had that great story that's probably all the way back now.
No.
Well, almost, not all the way, but 229. So, coming in, this name looks like it wants to continue to fall too. So, yeah, man, the blood right now, it seems to be in DRAM and all these spaces that just continue to get pummeled.
They're bleeding their own
now,
blood.
but Google, which is a nice long-term hold, that's up. So not up on the day, but at least it's going right now. So maybe a story there behind Google that we can get behind now again. But I don't know if we're going to be, how low we're going to go in the queues here. But
Peter Hopfee.
Yeah, good name, I guess.
Yeah, I think I got it right. The plan for EVAX, said it a couple times. It's not really moving enough to go over it. EVAX basically ran on the Moderna news early on. Just a sympathy run. I guess they have a similar, some kind of a similar trial upcoming at some point. It rejected multiple times. I was a little bit late to even notice that it had happened, but I'm just short the bottom end of the range. So it's been like $3 basically the whole time, scalping out while trying to hold if it gets to it's like a 52-week low if it breaks the low of the day today. But you're getting it just sort of sitting here at the bottom. And I would have liked it a heck of a lot better if I could have gotten involved here at like 3.25. But anyways, that's the reason we're in that one. And it's like, if it does something extreme, I'd go over it, but it's not. So that's the plan of action. I think if you can identify a sympathy name a lot sooner, the sooner the better. But I didn't notice that until it had already reversed the entirety of the move. Like, it's Moderna's day. If some random stock is going up just because it's got a low float, there's a decent chance it's going to give it up. People are going to want to take profit and things like that.
Yeah, market now going lower. So just took out the day's low there on the NASDAQ. So, we didn't even look at what the ES was doing. ES is up right now. So bank stocks might be part of that jam right there. What a trade. What's up, Mr. Westermeyer? Right here. Over 43 months, just bought Moderna puts. I think you bought them at the top. I mean, I think you just messaged us a couple minutes ago. So that was a nice one. It got to 150 and stopped. 149.75. Probably should have had that one there as the long. As the short there against 150. We talked about what 150 meant on, and great trade there. Hopefully it's paying off for you right now. But that's just like that SpaceX trade, the top side of it. So, 150 is bounced off SpaceX. There's a key level there for Moderna. Again, maybe now off that bounce we start to get back there to the upside. But yeah, here we go, man. Just an absolute move down, not being helped out. We just said that we saw Google was trying to help this market, but it's not being helped by NVIDIA. And then we saw Meta with a little bit of a pop, I thought we said earlier there today. We'll see if that can last as well. That's an up stock. Microsoft, we do have crude oil today at 10:30. That's not anything going on there. Microsoft is now up. Apple. So it looks like it's just sort of the big dogs right now that continue to get hit, right? So, yeah, they're barking, man, today. That is many of these stocks. Apple up 2%. So it's just the DRAM nation that I guess continues to send this market lower, right? I mean, most of the names I just looked at, all Mag 7 names, are all up. So, yeah.
It's chips, it's data center as well, which I want to show in a quick little second. But we did get to our, when in doubt, zoom out, the last leg of the bounce in Bitcoin, in my opinion, is in. Like the low, they have a double bottom on the last couple of weeks, and you have a bit of a top above that 37. So the second it wicked that high, it's like look for the exit point. It wicked 37.05, not a 37.5. That would have been nice. But if we pull back in, wait for the volume weighted average price. Just sort of, in the end of the day, like it's strong. I don't know what to tell you, but Bitcoin, it's having its day in the sun, or it's like 15, we'll call it 43 minutes in the sun, where it's relatively strong compared to the markets. Take advantage of what we can. Silver is still holding on. So what I might start to look at for SLV is this pre-market and then opening range support. And like if it breaks this trend line, then I'm done with USLV. Like I'll be willing to give it up. Forget about VWAP for now. It's not going to be my concern. If it can hold this trend line, then I want to play to the long side, because gold and silver, that's the other part of the equation here. With the market looking bad, gold just took out the highs. Now, it'd be nice if silver would continue. That's part of the reason that I jumped into it, but it's just not happening yet. So we've got Mag 7's a little bit strong. You've got Bitcoin, gold, silver doing okay. You could probably look at, okay, this is probably the first time we're going to do this. But if you have a look at like the USD, like JPY, still falling. So US dollar is looking pretty weak as well. And Commodity King saying PAS is doing a better move. That's what I love to hear, right? Like if you're in something, it doesn't matter. You could be in a winner. There could be something moving better that you could have a look at. Not a ton of volume on Pan American. No, 1.3 million to the 1.3 million volume on the day is not, like it's not crazy. Like SLV's done 4.5 times that volume. So I kind of like it better because it has that volume. But at the end of the day, you know what? If it's moving better, it's moving better. You just have to recognize where the strength and weakness is. I'm really glad that we got away from DRAM, because I would have, if I tried to trade it again, I promise you, I would have sort of forced my way into this long. Maybe I would have had that. I'd just be losing on the stock today. It caught one bounce off the pre-market support. We took that, as usual, when it gets to VWAP. That's my style. Like you have to be able to take it with a grain of salt. You look like a genius when it does this, but then I'll do that, and then it'll go to the high as well. It's just a matter of trading your own potential plan. So this market is, again, trying to catch a bid, but outside of gold and silver, I don't really know. And in Bitcoin, hopefully this will dip to get us back into it. I don't know how much I like some of the relief longs. Like this market's just been entirely too weak. And there is, oh yeah, I was supposed to go over to that small capper. The market's been moving so much, it's like, yeah, who cares about these small cappers?
Who cares? Oh no, don't say that.
No, what I mean is a lot of times there wouldn't be enough happening that you wouldn't go over these.
Yeah, I know.
That RDAC, which we couldn't find any news on, but I believe is a SPAC, halted down, reopened, and is now back at its volume-weighted average price. This could be one that if it loses VWAP, potential short there. That's the big one that's halting that I can see. And then there's another one, SKHY has been a halter. Oh, check that. It's about to halt right now to the upside, SKHY. So it's halted multiple times, bouncing off 6 and going into an up halt at 660. So there's plenty of movers out there that are performing better than the market.
Yeah, we're just watching the futures. It was Shashuka.
I'm gonna go get some
here today. So there it is. Just a little egg with some tomato sauce. Actually pretty. I haven't had it yet, but just taking one right there. Got an email from Starbucks. Haven't seen you in a while. Take 50% off. So I think we'll be going to Starbucks. Some handcrafted nonsense over there. We'll take that. All right, so there it goes. Nice move, right? I mean, honestly, we just were waiting for that. We could have got longer at 71 flat. You know, our stop out was going to be somewhere near there, just a little south of the low of the day. But we, thankfully we didn't get stopped out. So let's just put some more offers up top here. Play advantage, basically play the advantage of this move higher right now, and the fact that we do have some of those lows. Let's get a little bit out now. It's too bad that we sort of went short on Moderna there, because we did wind up giving some back, and it kind of sucks because that was a long off of that 15 level that we had marked out. So it's always nice when things work, but would have been nicer if we would have caught that short off of 140. It's funny that I tried 140 and not 150. So, okay. All right, continuously going lower here. We should probably try to flip over into the short. I'm still long, I'm still waiting for this long to work because I am long on the futures here, but on the TQs anyways. So let's wait to see. Palantir just coming off the scanners right now as, wow, Palantir, this is pretty much of the roller coaster that you don't necessarily want to be on as a day trader, especially, trying to watch these futures. But huge upside move. That's enough to sort of confuse that you think that you think Palantir is going to be strong today, and then all of a sudden at about 9:37, it completely reverses all the way back into 170 again, and now trying to catch a bid on King Palantir. We'll wait to see if it does wind up breaking. I'd love to see a 173 break. I think that's something to look out for. It's really interesting that a lot of these Mag 7s, and I mean, as a Mag 7 holder, it's nice to see them all starting to go back up to the upside. But really, we need NVIDIA to lift this market. If these semis are not going to start to go higher, this market's going to have a hard time catching a bid because we've already seen Microsoft and all those other names, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Meta. Well, the only one we should look at maybe is Tesla to see if that completes the Mag 7 there, because I know Amazon was higher earlier as well. SK Hynix, not a Mag 7 name, but this was up quite nice there on that share repurchase program there, Buyback, and now it's all the way back in. And you can see here, this is probably a short too. There's the high, there's the lower high, there's a lower high, there's a lower high, and all trying to get going here as well. And then, lower lows. So this is sort of pieced out. Okay, here we go.
I want this to get to 180.
I have Moderna short, by the way.
So I can say 180, like the darts guys.
This Moderna, I just saw the whole thing. Neil, you're muted. But there goes Moderna, as I just heard Joe, don't do it. And we took a $1 hit there as it breaks back up above. I was just trying to see if something was going to go on there. But yeah, Joe, you right on that one. Do not do it. There goes Moderna. Absolutely. What a move, man. This should be $40 in the money.
The halt band's at 154.29.
So do we want to go long when
154.29. It's the halt band is always the limit up to moving target, but right now 154.29 is a halt up on Moderna, which, let's be real, when was the last time we saw something this big actually go into a halt?
Do we want to go long if it halts?
I can't. Oh, the halt band just dropped back again.
Right.
That's a problem. It's going to reset every, I think it's like 5 minutes. Now 155.83. This is insanity. What I was saying when my mic was off, because I wanted to get food, was 180. Why not? It was 150, so call it 120 to 150, 150, and then another 30 would be $180. But this is absolute insanity. It wouldn't surprise me if it
Where
actually.
is this halt level?
It's 155.83.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a moving target up there. We're going to go to Adara. By the time we come back, Moderna's probably either halted or back through 150.
I'll be quick so we can go back to Moderna madness. BIVI reported earnings last Thursday morning. This is BioV, so this would be, day 5 earnings for this company. I don't have any other news. $10.2 million market cap, 7.2 million share float, 11% short float. Next up, FEMY, which does have a catalyst. Femesis announcing FDA approval for its modular PMA submission approach for FemBlock. Apparently, this is a non-surgical permanent birth control. So FEMY with a $26 million market cap, 2.73 million share float, 9.7% short float. I know for a fact this has rallied multiple times in the past. Last but not least, RDAC, no news on Rising Dragon Acquisition Corp. You've got a $63.2 million market cap, 2.46 million share float. Honorable mention goes here to Maison MSS. Looks like a firm updated their stake in this stock as of filing yesterday. MSS is another name that's rallied before, and this name actually is a decent float and short float to mention, which is why I wanted to bring this up. $1.89 million market cap, 550,000 share float, and 26% short float. Back to you.
Moderna just gapped $3. I was sitting here watching this thing. It was at $152, maybe $5, and it just went to $157.50. So all this halting, I don't. This name is wow. Damn it, man. That was a very rich opportunity down there at 150. I can't believe those are my last longs, are right down there at 115. And where we're going right now, absolutely insane movement here on your Moderna trade there today. We want to thank everybody for watching us on this kind of a day. Very interesting to trade. Needless to say, on a day like today. Okay, sorry, I'm on the TQs. My bad. I just got long there, got a little bit out there on the TQs, but the story is this. There goes Moderna. This is what I meant to talk about. 160, what's that going to do right now? Who knows, man? Just a little speechless. This was up 90%. This is a big cap name. This isn't one of those small cap runners that we can tend to look at. This is a monster, but you could trade it the same way. This is just like some of the runners that we've seen on the show many times. I mean, this RDAC just halted.
And it was a $25 billion company. It's obviously not now.
No, well higher than that at this point. And the thing is just like when Joe was just kind of saying, don't do it, right? It's more like, I think he's probably right with that talk, and not just because where it is. It's like, do you actually want to be short Moderna? That's a risk at all times right now. All you need is somebody to come out and say, wow, this is something else. Price targets increase, everything going to the upside right now. Moderna just up 150%, obviously caught everybody by surprise. This is a 20% or so short float that we indicated to you guys before the show started. So, yeah, man.
The other thing to think about, the trial was specifically for melanoma, but what does that mean for other potential applications? Maybe that's the thing. The shorts are is this the start of something else? So anyway, what was happening up at the top and why I was going over the halt bands, it seemed like every time it would drop a couple of dollars away from the halt band, someone would market it up, but never to the actual halt level. It was always staying 10 to 15 cents shy of it, because it's like somebody was just selling their shares in front of the halt band, so it would never get there. I saw it happen 4 or 5 times. I was hoping it would go into a halt, because that might give you a spot to look for what is next. All right, well, yeah, so I bet we didn't get back, just to go back to the regular stuff in the market. Nothing happened. Bitcoin's still at the highs, same prices we got out at. Gold and silver have been pretty solid, but I still maintain SLV doesn't look as good as the Bitcoin bounce off VWAP. It hasn't gotten to the highs. I've now moved my stop just above break even. For whatever reason, it's just, I don't know. It's not going like it should, so probably should have liked IBIT better. Ended up taking the same in them, but really IBIT was better than SLV here. So if it gets the high of the day, we'll jump out of that one for sure. But it's hard not to be, you're going to be mesmerized. Even when Moderna puts in a red candle, one red candle up. One red candle, up again. One red candle. That's it. On a 3-minute, it's basically showing you we're dipping, but we're not dipping for very long. Maybe you get 2 in a row, that kind of a play, a death candle. A halt down would be super interesting. What I was hoping we get a halt up, and I'd be able to judge the reopen. But if it doesn't
halt down would be interesting. But then you need $15. It needs to move a lot.
I would not put anything past this stock today. At this point, there's no move, halt, up, down, gap that will surprise me at this point.
I just wonder if you move.
I'm surprised now, but I'm not anymore. I will not be surprised by anything going forward.
No. I mean, I just went short at 150. It's at 160 right now. So if I go long, you talk about difference of day makers and day breakers, right? I mean, just going long down here on Moderna would have been the key. And out of all of this, man, we see Eli Lilly just absolutely.
Oh, of course, yeah. Merck. We're not even talking about Merck.
Yeah, forget Merck. I haven't even looked at it. But right here, all-time highs and just ripping right now. So this is an account saver today if you have this, because, that, and then as Neil just mentioned, it is a deal with Keytruda. Not a deal, but, Keytruda was part of the equation there for Merck. So, it was, whatever the vaccine or whatever the development that Moderna had was taken alongside Keytruda. That's Merck's cancer drug. So they're both working out right now for science. So
getting Mercked
yay science right now is Broadcom.
Remember, it's all the data center stuff is getting smoked. Caterpillar's down. So I can be happy that Eli Lilly's up, but if it's up 3%, that's a wash for me. Actually, that's not true. I have more Eli Lilly than I do Caterpillar, so it's probably still good. But no, Caterpillar's taking it on the chin. Vernova. I'm only saying these two because I happen to own these two in my portfolio. 3% to the downside. They're getting absolutely bled. The bigger story this morning was, remember, Nebius. Yuck, that daily chart. Nebius all the way down 12% because they registered it. They offering for an EBIAS. So their potential dilution there, finding another sneeze, but they're getting smoked. They're catching a bit of a bid here, so at least you're catching some kind of a bid. Just the second, watch, of course, like the second we get to the high and I say, yeah, I'm going to respect the top on SLV, watch it try to break out. So that's where the strength has been in the market today. If it's not Moderna, it's been gold, silver, and Bitcoin are where your strength is. And then, of course, AAPL, Apple, just doing Apple things, although pulling back.
Yeah, you might finally be on a pullback here. So I think the market could rip if Moderna halts down. I just think there has to be more focus on some of these other names. And 75 million shares of a $150 name right now. Let's see if the market can get going here. It's great news in the biotech space. It's decent. I mean, I thought SK Hynix was a good story, to be honest with you. So, I think if there's going to be any kind of a pull up, there could be an SK Hynix move long right now. But my number one, I only have one red name or one green name, a few red names. TQs, well, a bigger trade that we're working on now is this TQ trade. So, another dip buy there. We still have more than half of this as it rips all the way back up to the upside into the 60s. I'm actually waiting to get a decent chunk out at 8. Well, now it's changed. I was waiting up here at 85. Maybe now, as we zoom back in a little bit, we could see crude inventories. Okay, I'm just going to take a piece here at 75 and cancel my 80. Well, we'll keep a little bit. Let's take another piece at 75s. Okay, so there it is. We get another piece out there, and we'll just wait now to see how high we can fly on the TQs as we make some of that money back off of NVIDIA loss, off of SpaceX was so small. Intel was more the problem there today, right? I mean, that one got hit early and we left it alone, and then we tried it one quickly at 94 and that didn't work. So we tried some, we got a little bit back and there on Intel, but that was a downside play there. So we'll try to battle this back throughout the rest of the day here as we go. And what's giving me some room for thinking that there's an upside coming is the mags today are up. So if the Mag 7 can stay higher and we can figure this all out, we do have a build right now of 4.4. So a build of 4.4 million, they were expecting a build of 200,000. These numbers really haven't meant anything. So as you get more, if the build is higher on USO, which we just got, then that should, there it is, US crude inventories, 4.4 million barrel build versus 200,000. So that should create oil downside right there as there's more oil available that they thought. So more by 4 million barrels. So I don't know enough about oil, but I'm guessing we use easily 4 million barrels a day. So that's not necessarily a pause for too much of concern, but there you go, man. We broke it to you. Now oil is going to the downside right there as there's a glut of oil apparently out there right now. So although there is that controversy, obviously in the Middle East, right now, you can see it's not over. Yeah, it's definitely not over. Winning at 89s now, so hopefully we can. There it is. We get some 89s. We're making a little bit of money back here on the TQQs, thankfully. And it looks like Moderna does have a little bit of a heartbeat to the downside, and then stopped right there. So I think if you're going to go long, you might as well wait for this 25 period that's been cruising, and we haven't broke it there. And I just wish I would have used it right there. But at the end of the day, 151.50 might be the breaking spot there for Moderna.
Yeah.
Tesla we didn't look at.
Maybe there's so many names that we haven't even gotten to this morning. And I know that's how it is. But oil down, the market's making a little bit of a bounce. I feel like you're starting to get to the point where we could see that little V shape. And I'm going to stick to the theme of if it's relatively strong, I'm going to like it a little bit better. So SMCI, which initially I thought was a short at $38 today, you can throw out the note with all the movement we've had, but you're above VWAP when the futures aren't. So if we stall at the volume weighted average price, that could pull back into VWAP if we stall. And so far today, it's been patience that's worked out. So waiting for the futures to get to the VWAP high. If we pull back from there, then I want to look at SMCI on the dip. And that's on the off chance that we don't. Look, if Bitcoin comes back and pulls us back into VWAP or SLV, one of those two names, and we can always jump back in and try to join those dips, but we got those moves already, so I want to move on to the next.
LULD it's called, right?
It's LULD.
LULD.
Because the thing about the halt, so what Sean's asking about, which if you're at real trading and you are not making your the halt bands and acts, so what you do is you just go, if I go MRNA, then physically, why I can tell you guys where the halt bands are is I'll actually see it light up on my level 2 when we get close. And then I can just read it off. So I know exactly where the halt bands are going to be. It's just a matter of marking it with like some kind of weird, I have like some weird pinkish color, so it just stands out.
Wow.
But it's not there yet.
Holy God. Wow. This name, Neil, this just touched the 25. I was like, oh, we have to wait for the 25 period. What? It went to 152, then it bumped $8 in 1 minute right there. This name, man, she be on one. Needless to say, I was actually just about to say to you, like, oh, maybe we'll hold down over here. And then no, it does. Like literally that 20. I mean, this is why we have it on there. So put your money-making ideas right now in the chat because that was a nice money-making opportunity right there. The 25 period moving average. You know what? Who do we have here, Andre? Let's go over the roll call if we can get that chat up right now. I'll pop mine out right there, but we can get it going right there. Let's say what's up. Stop hunting. Yeah, I mean, like if you're hunting for shorts in Moderna, maybe stop looking. They might not be there. What's up to Commodity King? What's up to John is here? What's up to HP Motor Cars? What's up to the one, Jeremy Newman? Thank you so much for being here. Disneyland Royalty, Mixmaster JT. We have a friend JT, that joker in our pool. No Respect in here. Ichiro, Zen Zombie. You know, so I was telling the guy, I was like, oh, you know, pick 5 is available. You know, you have any backs, guys? Travis Etienne. And then I was going to trade it for Travis Etienne. The guy doesn't want to do it until Kamara. Now he's coming all over me now because he's realizing that he wants pick 105 because Kamara's hurt or something. So
Kamara's hurt?
That's what he said. Anyways. All right. Crazy Dirtweed is there. We have our pool this weekend. We have our draft. The one is there. Danny Tanks. John is there as well. Chef Joe. IV on Moderna, 118%. Yeah, no doubt about that. There. What's up to Frathos, Hypercube, Jane, 4on4, Orange, Get Fozy there. B Cameron. What's up to everybody? But yeah, man, this market just doesn't seem to want to stop, right? And so
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. We did get some out there on the TQs on this upside play. I don't think we've exhausted it. I still think we can get to VWAP, but I am now out of, I only have a third left right now on those Qs as we got out right here. I mean, how many, we've already seen this 72 level come and go. So, you know, we got to be very, very careful on what we're doing with that level. But yeah, so far so good, man. We made a lot of money back off that move right there, thankfully, because, and I'm going to throw it over to Neil. We did have our Intel stop out. We did have our Moderna stop out. Unbelievable Moderna. I mean, whatever. We can keep talking about it till it's blue in the face. I actually like this NVIDIA level there, 219. So we could definitely have a look there, but stopped out there. And then SpaceX was basically in and out, nothing going on there. So maybe a break of 140 long for SpaceX could be a trade.
New highs.
For Moderna just now?
Well, obviously.
160.
What else would it be that's making fresh highs? Well, actually, that's not. Look, other things are making highs too. I just saw gold and silver both just punched through the tops as well, so those are still going. But Moderna, maybe 165 is the next break. I was joking around, but like it would be symmetrical if 180 ended up a high. Like the dip here was in the 90-ish. 90 was a level. You had a breakaway at 120. 150 was a bit of a top. Like every $30, I would think 180 could be a bit of a spot. It would be cooler if it halted to the upside. But my goodness, like you are getting this nice pushback overall in the market. I just look up and it's like the thing that I didn't think was going enough is now extending because now silver is up 3.5% and continuing to be outside of Moderna in the market story. It's gold and silver. Like look at them. They're just all morning long rallying. We had multiple people in the chat when the initial move was going and everything was going up because the U.S. Treasury, they pointed out, hey, gold and silver, those or gold in particular, were going higher. Love some GDX and what that's doing here today. Unfortunately, there's a few things that, oh, no, never mind. NBIS right back into VWAP. Hey, good for NBIS. They're starting to go. We got a super chat from Matan or, Matting. Matt Angie Spana. Trying to get the name right, but I can't. QTEX, micro cap is ripping. I feel like all the momentum traders, like the small capper traders, are probably all honed in looking at the move. on Moderna. I can't call that up. So QT, is that the right symbol? QTEX.
Potentially.
Oh, there
not.
it is.
Okay,
it just didn't work the first time. I don't know why sometimes I have to hit enter twice. QETX, microcap is not ripping anymore. It did rip earlier, but now it's done that thing where you lose the volume weighted average price. I think you got to be careful when small cappers, they make their run. When they completely start to lose the bid, the end result could be like the last death throes that this EVAX is putting in. You know what? This might be done. I keep thinking it's going to break down. If this breaks the low, it's breaking the 52-week low as well, but it doesn't want to. I might just get out. If it gets back above 3, it's taken all morning long, and it literally does not want to. It just doesn't want to break. So now you can understand that sometimes, if I think it can drop 20, 30 cents more if it loses the bid, well, it's a 20-cent range. That's it on this $3 stock. So I'm going to get out if we break back above $3. And then Virginia, you got this, brah. Breathe. You got this. Breathe.
Come on, bruh.
Moderna's got everything right now.
Moderna has
160 reverse.
Yeah, that was the thing. We're definitely, man. Right now, man, the TQ is just right to VWAP. So thankfully, this market is right back to where it belongs. Find your home or get into your home, whatever he says there in Happy Gilmore. There when he's putting it. I have not been out golfing yet this year, which is crazy. I used to go at least 4 or 5 times a year.
It's almost end of August.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Just been way too busy with
crazy.
baseball and just everything this summer has just been an absolute wild ride. But yeah, we need to get out there. So anybody want to take me golfing? We can go. Hit me up. We'll go in the GTA there, and you can then kidnap me and everything. It'll be really fun. But yeah, so there it goes upside there, 72.40s. As we continue to climb higher, there we go. Yeah, let's just go, man. I mean, this has been a big trade, and made pretty much everything back here on this move. So it was a really good one. Just wish we had sort of stuck with our guts there on 91s with Intel. We did mention that. And then this 219 on NVIDIA was another name that I was just saying I liked that break there of 219. Didn't do it. So darn it on that one. Should have, could have, would have liked to have hit that one. But there goes NVIDIA now upside. And still climbing, so that level of 219 that we had written down on Moderna looks good. The level of 115 on NVIDIA looks good. The level of 115 on Moderna obviously is looking pretty good at this point as well. So we have to wait to see if that one eventually halts down. I now have the marker on here for the limit halt, limit down. So if that does come through, we'll be over that one as well. It looks like it may halt down.
150, 180.
The question is, do we want to take the halt down right now? I don't know, man. My good friend over there, Joey Opsh, was saying to me never to take that halt, never to take that shred at 51. He was right about that one. So, maybe something there. But yeah, Moderna's coming back in just a little bit. I want to see it halt and then see where we wind up opening up. I think I'll try a small bit on the halt there down, just try to go short if I'm able to. We could check. I don't even want to throw an order out now to see if it's shortable because the last time.
It is.
Okay, you've already tested it. Yeah.
I tested it.
I was going to say, because the last time, it was down here. It ripped $8 in one move. So, okay, here it comes. So I have the limit up, limit down marked. I don't see it.
The problem is it keeps resetting lower because it'll get close and someone will buy it up. Now it's under 150 at 149.66.
I marked it as gray. So I have all these levels as gray. But when it comes up here, we should be able to see it. So,
yeah.
All right, limit up, limit down right now on Moderna. We'll have to wait to see when that does wind up hitting. But what's up, Adara?
What's up here is the market. You've got health tech, or not necessarily all of the market, but certainly a lot of these sectors here. You've got health tech sharply to the upside. Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson looking good here. Thermo Fisher. Moderna, of course, not on here, but up well over 100% after announcing alongside Merck, which is up nearly 11%, positive trial results and meeting 2 key endpoints for one of its treatments, specifically used for melanoma, alongside Keytruda. In the case of this trial. Consumer services green, consumer durables nicely green here, led by Tesla, up 2.5%. Non-energy minerals strong, consumer non-durable strong. Retail trade also looking good here. Target up 5% on earnings. Lowe's up 4% on earnings. Carvana up 6% just because, but TJX here down about 1.8% on earnings day one. Walmart's reporting here tomorrow morning, so keep an eye on that one. Tech services kind of mixed, though you have a lot of weakness in these cybersecurity names. I couldn't find any news on these for what it's worth, but Palo Alto Networks down 6%, CrowdStrike down 7%. Finance weak, producer manufacturing weak, and electronic technology mostly weak here. Broadcom, this 5% down move alongside Marvell's 9% up move. That's worth mentioning here. Marvell announces that agreement here with Google, specifically for TPU-related work, and they also announced that they're going to be issuing Google these warrants. Broadcom to the downside in reverse sympathy. We'll send you back over to the guys.
Yeah, that, like, man.
It's going to break 150.
NW is crazy.
Yeah, well, I
Palo Alto and
missed that
CrowdStrike
story because
are
yeah,
just absolutely
okay,
getting smoked, both
yeah.
these names.
That's a
This
big
is not
holding.
split adjust, but 5.5 and 7% on both of those,
Boo.
and no bid in sight whatsoever. That's the thing. Like, it's not as if the market's not bouncing here, right? So when you see, that's what gets you a little bit more concerned. Like, when you see this and you're not bouncing with the market, like Nebius, you could feel a little bit better if you're a Nebius because that was double digits. Like I was talking about Vernova and some of the data center plays. Okay, well, that bounced. It's at VWAP and the market's at VWAP. That's how it should be. Caterpillar, if it's not back up and bouncing at VWAP, so I'm not. It's following along with what's happening. Why you're not bouncing in cybersecurity, that's a different story. So yeah, there's mild concern there. 150 just held. Oh, it was about to break that 150 level.
I know. I'm trying to find levels, but the thing is like
Bounces right off of it.
for me, it's just about the share size. It's not even about the levels because it's like you just like right there. It was just at 154 and then it's back down to 151. So it's like, how much do you really want to risk? Like the long could be right, but it's moving up and down $3-4 at a time. So it's like it's not worth using even 50 shares. Like, you know, you blink and you're out of the money 200. Like there it goes. Like it was just at 154 when I started talking. So, you know, now you're down into there and like 149, 150 break. I would have thought that could be the short, just like we were short right there at 151. You know, so all I had to do was hold it, I guess, as if we're doing that, ripping up $13 there. I mean, we could have held it. Our account can hold that, but you know, now you may be finally catching some kind of a reversion back on this name, but it is trying to bounce off of the 50 period moving average. Like again, I don't see any limit up, limit downs now on this name because 15% or 10% is way too much. Like it would have had to basically happen, what is it, within 5 minutes or 1 minute? Like that's just not going to happen right there. I think I should take the time to review what exactly the limit up, limit down rules are.
Well, it's based on share
NASDAQ.
price. So this one
but the
might
timing.
it's supposed to be within 5 minutes.
Within 5
And
minutes?
this one should be more 5% moves.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find out because I know it's, you know, based on the market cap and all that kind of stuff. Maybe
But it's-
Adara, if I could give you a project, I mean, not that you don't have enough. What exactly are the limit up, limit down halt rules? And do they change based on, because we've seen names, you know, like in the small cap space, all of a sudden move like 500% and not halt. So we don't understand that. And then Moderna as well right here. Not that it needs to halt. I don't think it does. It's very orderly and everything seems fine with it. It's just, I wonder what those rules are. Yes?
Okay, so it's a rolling 5-minute average price of transactions, and the bands here, so the 5% or 10%, depends on the stock's price or tier, and it's above or below the reference price. So I'm gonna have to read more into like what the tier thing means.
Okay.
That's just the Cliff's notes, I suppose.
Okay, I mean, that's basically all we want. I mean, I wanted to hear that if there was like almost like a two-tiered system on how these
That's
names-
why you'll see penny stocks be so different.
Yeah, so, okay. So Moderna is still, I mean, again, great trade, man. Is anybody in the chat short there? I mean, that was pretty good. Finally breaking that 25. I mean, we talked about that all the way up, that 25 period moving average there. We finally did break it. And I think it broke and like moved around a couple bucks off of it. And then now finally getting that momentum now to the downside as traders chasing the short now probably. Or they're out and they're in, back in and trying to hold out. That T-non there, we got this from Tisha at the early look. This name is halting a couple times here today and just now opening back to the upside. There is news on TNON, and that name goes bump in the night. And this was another one that looks like we had just split, right, on T-non, it looks like maybe. They're actually on E-signal. We don't actually, let me zoom in because now I can't see. Yeah, there was a 1 for 35 split back on the 10th. But that didn't really do anything. And then now today on news, we go boom there on TNON. So good look there, Tisha.
There's another one
else.
halted up.
Yeah.
ZSTK. Man, just as I was going to go to this zero stack stock, Moderna just plunged through 145. But this one's halted on less than 1 million shares of volume. The tap is 301, but MRNA, just really started to give it up. They're into 140. But someone just put in the chat, short Novavax. And I was like, I just got out of that other sympathy play, which was EVAX, which just basically was a short at 3 to the low, but now it's breaking away from 3. But Novavax was gapped up and is a sympathy name. So if Moderna is going to come back in here, look at all the selling at 860 on Novavax, and look at the 200 pre-moving average. Like, there is a trade where if Moderna, what's all over itself, then in theory, this can come back to where it was. It was at 820 at the bottom end of the range today. That's plenty of room to work. So if the top is 862, ideally fill here in like at the 55 range works a little bit well. But I just realized that we don't have locates because I just hit offer enter, and you can see an order didn't go out. So I'm going to pay for locates in this name because the risk to reward seems a little bit more reasonable. If Moderna falls, I don't see why Novavax up 7% on sympathy wouldn't be a good one.
Yesterday there was the push forward again. So the Taco Tuesday happened one more time.
Yeah, we got a deal.
There was, I think he just pulled back that 50% in hopes of a deal. I don't know if there actually is one, but what does it say here? Canada's Trade Minister LeBlanc, I don't even know who that is, and Charette are going to meet with USTR Greer. Okay, good. So I did see last night just hanging out there, something flashed on my app that, there was Trump pulled back that 50% threat there on some of the tariffs of various products. So, it looks like that, and again, good for Trump. And, even though we are here in Canada, I respect the fact that, trying to make a deal. So playing a little hardball, going back and forth just to try to get them to the desk, right? And it looks like that has worked today. So we hopefully get something done there. And then, Canada, US can resume their friendly trade balances back and forth, as Canada is the largest trade partner for the U.S. So I think that would definitely allow some settling down of some of the talk that we go 51st state talk and whatnot. As President Trump now, there's midterms coming through, so that should be exciting to see what that does.
Typically not the best for the market.
To the markets. No, I was talking about that the other day. As some of my friends in the banking space have exited out of many of their positions heading into midterm, and whether or not you think that that's the right thing to do or not, up to you guys. I'm not. I'm still pretty much 100% in equity. But here comes the move on the NASDAQ. It just got to view up, so guess what, man? We emptied out the clip. We have just about 15% left of our futures trade, all out. As we were climbing, we got a lot out at 72 and even more out up here at VWAP. I mean, as it was climbing, we're like, hey, man, target VWAP. If we can get that, great. Low of the day 3 times, right back into VWAP. We like it. It's Money Talks with Adara.
Sometimes we talk about this in trading where a technical breakdown happens at the same time as a news catalyst, and that news catalyst actually spurs on the technical breakdown. I would argue that's what you're seeing here with the US dollar. We had this multiple touches here of that 99.4 level, and we crashed below it, currently trading around 90, just shy of 98.9s here. Basically what happened was we had this announcement from the US Treasury about increased sizes of nominal, long, and liquidity support buybacks. That'll happen as of September 9th. So the current maximum size here is $2 billion. That's going to rise to minimum $4 billion for the maximum size of transaction. Again, that's I was seeing for 10 to 20 years and then 20 to 30 years. So that's going to be absolutely in focus. Now, speaking of auctions here, at 1 p.m., you're going to get that 20-year bond auction. Keep an eye on that. That's coming just 1 hour before the FOMC meeting minutes for the July meeting. Now, if I can, okay, I don't have the CME Fed Watch tool up. That's cool. We've been seeing roughly 65 to 70% chance of a rate hold, 30 to 35% chance of a rate hike at that September meeting. I suspect that comments here from the Fed, which again, we won't see who said what. We'll just see most members, some members, the bulk of members felt a certain way. I think it'll give us a sense of how we're feeling as to consensus, because we know consensus at the Fed has not really been abundant as of late. As Fed Chair Warsh calls it, they're family feuds. We had, a 75% of Feds vote for the rate hold at the July meeting, for which we'll be getting the minutes at 2 p.m. We also had 25% or 3 members dissent in favor of a hike. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the arguments for that hawkish decision, and if that was just an opinion shared by these 3 voting members, or if other Fed members also felt this way. We'll get a sense of that consensus or lack thereof at 2 p.m. Eastern. Stick with us for that. We'll send you back over to the guys for more trading.
All right. So my question to you, Neil, yesterday was, how was the grilled chicken Power Bowl?
It wasn't a Power Bowl.
Oh.
It was
Okay, so how was whatever it was?
It was literally just grilled chicken on the plate with a regular salad, some potatoes.
But you know what I liked about it?
It was chicken and potatoes.
Was there no chickpeas in there?
Chickpeas? There was no chickpeas.
Oh, okay. So we'll stop.
No,
Okay, so thankfully for me, because I wasn't here.
It was just a
but
regular meal.
Oh, okay. Boo. All right.
Nothing special about it.
All right,
So
well-
it wasn't bad. It was it was chicken and potatoes.
Yeah, okay.
With a salad. But the Power Bowl thing was a farce.
Okay, so all right.
we
Well, that's
suspected.
okay. I mean, I don't mind the chicken with potatoes and salad. I mean, that's a pretty typical lunch. Let's go.
Why does Kathy would care about lunch?
She was talking. She must be a fan of the Power Bowl or something like that. Right now, okay. Well, it's my home flag over here, which is Canada. I'm born in Canada, of course. My father Italian.
Okay.
All right. These have been hit or miss. We'll have to wait. It's meatballs. So it's meatballs with marinara sauce. Looks like there's going to be a little penne. So we like the penne. Penne is one of my favorite.
Love penne.
So we got the penne there. That's it, man. So
That's
it's
if we actually
meatballs.
get it.
The veggies are getting the Beyond Meat meatball. So, you can find out what's going on with Beyond Meat. There goes the Qs, by the way. Nice move higher right there as we just continue to, work that trade. And that's going to be a doozy, man. Thankfully, the futures have saved me today. All right, that's what it is, man. It's Italian meatballs with penne pasta, roasted herb vegetables. We like that one there. Mixed greens. That's it.
As always.
Yeah, as always. So kind of just as we go forward there. But yeah, man, picking up the futures at the bottom of the day was a good one there. So definitely a day saver for me here because we were dead in the water. Like if that move continued to go lower, then it was a bad day for me because we did have NVIDIA. NVIDIA is small. We wound up losing pretty much our whole day right now is just resting on this Intel loss. So we're able to make back pretty much everything else with these futures. But still a red day to start with there. And we did make good money on Moderna, but then as I said, threw it back right there on this most recent move higher back and forth. So yeah, it was pretty good for Moderna, but 163 was the high. And right now, battling, man, we'll see where this one winds up. Definitely something to talk to Joe about with the options and whatnot on Moderna. Oh, there we go.
Jokes.
At 600, yeah.
Well, yeah, like Avis, because that's where apparently Avis turned around when it did its squeeze.
Okay, well.
I don't know, but let's put it this way: if Moderna gets to 600, we'll all be freaking out around here. That would be completely insane.
600.
No, it's not.
Hope I'm long.
Yeah, it's not like it isn't Avis. It's not that kind of a play. That was somewhat different of a short squeeze. Virginia trades, and again, it's, what do we see, 15% short flow?
Yep.
Avis was structurally just very, very different. Neil Sean just have a ribeye.
Yeah.
Not opposed to that.
Yeah,
But remember,
just have a ribeye.
we get the catered lunch here, so we appreciate the lunch that we get, and we're happy for it. I think it'll be good today. The past
I think it'll be good. I mean, even if the meatballs aren't good,
it's still.
can you really screw up just a simple pasta?
No, it's a simple pasta.
I think
It's hard to screw.
maybe I shouldn't say that. Remember,
Frank-
it's
Oh,
the
goodness.
catered part that's the problem, right? I mean, they're making it for everybody, so
Yeah.
whether or not you like it al dente, I like it a little al dente.
You can't please everybody, I think, when you
Exactly,
have catered.
especially around this place. there.
Frankie Bumps, Joey's my paisan, LF. Let's
There we
get
go.
it.
That's from TikTok, I guess.
That's from TikTok. I'm assuming it's from
$1.48. There he
TikTok.
is, right there. Yeah, there he
Assuming
is.
it's from
So
TikTok.
what's up there? Frankie Bumps coming into play there.
Frankie
so
Fist Bumps?
Shout out to Frankie Bumps over
Get a
there.
graphic for
You are moments away from the Bro Show. It's 10:56, so 4 more minutes, and they'll talk about hopefully a lot of things, man. This SKK has been halting. I mean, I think if you're going to trade, you should probably be looking at Moderna and some of the markets today, but there goes SKK. There goes Tenon halting now to the downside finally, gapping to 1423 right now is where it looks like we could get that. We could get the reopen 14.25 right now. There goes, just opened. There's Tenon just opened up right now. 14.25 opened up, now heading a little lower. TNON right now. Wow, we're $1.50 on the TQs now, still going higher. SpaceX maybe got some giddy up to it if that one wants to go a little bit higher. But yeah, again, thanks to everybody for watching. It's been a hell of a day here in the market. No matter what you've been trading, I'm sure there's been some get up, pep to your step, right? But Moderna is the one that's got to be looked at. Now breaking below its recent lows, now of 145. Impossible to judge what this means for our world right now, but it's a nice story, and I think that Moderna is definitely up enough now. I mean, 132%. So, well done, Moderna, and all your stakeholders that believed in you guys as the move is heading higher and doesn't look like it wants to stop.
No, there's pretty much nothing stopping it. But hey, there have been like kernels of like actual breakout strength that have not been Moderna. I'm surprised. IBIT continued. It actually doubled the move. So Bitcoin 65.9, almost at 66,000 as well. And obviously this or gold on the 15-minute. Look at gold. Look at GLD on a 15. That's absolutely insane. Since we got out of SLV, obviously if gold's going up, silver is going to be good. Maybe not as strong, but it extended the move into the gap. We respected it to the high, but it ends up filling the gap anyways. That's where a lot of the buying's been that isn't Moderna related. And I did that NVAX trade, paid for some locates. This is just a, hey, Novavax is up. Obviously it's a bit of a sympathy play. Here it goes to the 200 SMA on the daily. Puts in a lower high. Look at all the resistance at $8.60. So just a mid 50 short to the high. And there we go. We finally got our 55 fill there because that's the fill we wanted. So we had 54 as a price, stop at the high, and then just bidding for a retrace. Feel like if Moderna is going to retrace all the way, it can drag a name like this down with it. Oh, and Russ, great point. Our good friend, ETH. So ETH wasn't doing as much. If we're being real, like it was doing nothing, and then all of a sudden it just went parabolic to catch up. So, yeah, is it having an outsized move? Absolutely, but the story would be that when Bitcoin started and then continued, ETH is absolutely going ham. And I will, just like yesterday, I'll play for a reversion on BMNR, but this is not like yesterday. Yesterday it went right to the prior day high, did not break it, and then reverted for the rest of the day. Like it's so much easier when you're doing a reversion at an established level like this. Like it's showing you the level saying, okay, well, this is the top. If it doesn't break it, just short. Now all of a sudden you really have to zoom out, and on BMNR, it's almost like the $20 level. That's gonna be a bit of a play. But if we get up there, if we see 20s, I think that's the spot that I'll look for it on BMNR because ETH is on an absolute tear this morning. Thoughts on Uber? Thank you for the super chat, CMT. I don't have anything different to say about Uber than we would have said yesterday. It was surprising to me how strong it was after the RoboTaxi news from Tesla, and then it gave up the entirety of the move by the end of the day. So I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. So it ended up being a fugazi bounce, which I can deal with because I thought it should have gone down on that Tesla RoboTaxi news, and then now it's back to the upside. So. Yeah, there's some strength coming into Uber. It has rejected the 200 SMA pretty much every single time. I can zoom back and it'll extend the line, don't need to. So if it wicks this high and ends up closing underneath 77, if it just, wicks this top, close under 77, then it's just more of the same. Failing around the same price on Uber, but I'm not gonna stand in front of this one. Again, I thought it should have lost the bid on that news from Tesla, and instead it's showing some signs of strength. It's 11. You already know we're going to be chilling out with some penne pasta and some meatballs, and we're going to say hi to Raheem Alani because he's right behind us. I didn't even see him.
Oh, there he is. What's up,
there. But for now, you're going to the Joey options and Sharif the professor. We'll see you back at 2 o'clock. Peace.